All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour one of John and Jim. We're here until 6, and when this Padres game goes final, we will fully react. We'll hear from Mike Schild, and Kevin Acee will join us this afternoon in the 5 p.m. hour. You called it to a T, Jim. You said Dylan Cease had to be the man. And I said, I take 5, I take 6, I take effectiveness. You said no. Like, I need Dylan Cease to look like Dylan Cease. I need 7 innings. And guess what? Do you know what happened?
He threw 7 innings last night.
And he didn't allow a run, which is something you hadn't done all year. You were preaching from that choir as well. Like, go 7 shutout innings against a good team. And that's what Dylan Cease did. And now we'll see if the Padres can win this series today or not. After winning yesterday, like you said, I mean, we can get into it even though this game is going on. The manner in which they won was truly unbelievable because the Dodgers did, once they got down, wave a white flag and take their ball and go home, and whatever cliche you want to say. Dave Roberts even admitting to it postgame, calling it awkward that he went to a position player in the 6th inning. I thought, like, off of that, I needed to see the Padres win the series today because 11-1 is great. Winning 11-1 yesterday was great. But if you still lose the series, it's like they get the last laugh being LA. So let's see if the Padres can win the series. They've got the early lead here today. Last night was an embarrassment for the Dodgers. Now the Padres are trying to take advantage and win the series.
All right. So number 1, Dylan Cease. That is what we're talking about.
That's right.
That is the type of outing that we've been waiting for, that they've been waiting for all year long. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't no hitter. He still walked 5 guys and kind of, made his own mess at times, but he didn't allow a run. He went into the 7th. He got through the 7th. He had 11 strikeouts, gave up only 3 hits. While the Dodgers might have punted from a pitching standpoint, they did not punt from a lineup standpoint. They had all their regulars in there yesterday, except for Will Smith. So any, lame Dodger fan out there wanting to say that the Dodgers threw out their B team yesterday. So what you're telling me is you think Ohtani and Freeman and Betts and Muncy and Hernandez are a B team?
No, they only quit on the game once they went down. I mean, in the top of the 3rd inning, they loaded the bases in a scoreless game. They were based it away from maybe blowing the game open themselves.
Yeah.
But the Padres are the team that blew it open. But no, you're right. I mean, that's such a lame. We saw it last night on the wrap-up show. I'm seeing the comments today as well.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are celebrating a June win like it's the World Series. Nobody's doing that. You guys are pretending like the Dodgers are trying to win this game. It didn't matter for them. Yes, it did. Of course it did.
They tried.
Of course they did, just like they're trying today, and the Padres have the early 1-0 lead.
They just... as an organization, don't know how to keep their pitchers healthy. So because of that, their pitching sucks, and they have no one to blame but themselves.
Oh, they're going through it.
They are
pitching staff.
They are going through it right now. But it's just, I think, diving a little deeper into the Dodgers' injury problems, they might have an organizational problem because they can't keep pitchers healthy. They just are not good at doing that. And this guy that threw last night, what was his name? I forget his name already. Sauer?
Yeah, Matt Sauer.
Matt Sauer. Hey, buddy, I hope you're still icing that arm because Dave Roberts said, screw your career. I'm going to make you go out there and wear it, and then we're going to send you back down to the minors.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Again, Roki, hey, I know you chose LA because you wanted to ride the coattails of Ohtani and Yamamoto. But how's it really working out for you in LA with your arm?
And with this historic payroll, you're throwing Matt Sauer and then
Kike Hernandez
and Kasparius in back-to-back games. Listen, the amazing thing about it all is over 162. It's a little bit like the conversation with the Padres. Get Michael King back when it matters more.
Weather the storm.
Get Yu Darvish back when it matters more. I would say the same thing about the LA Dodgers. We've been saying it the last 2 days. It's not like this series is going to determine the better team. Nope. For a day, we'll say, hey, maybe the Padres are a game in front of the Dodgers, or the Dodgers are a game in front of the Padres. These aren't finished products. This isn't what it's going to look like in October if these two teams square off, but that doesn't matter. You need to capitalize. And that lame excuse that it didn't matter last night for the Dodgers, of course it does. Because at the end of the year, they're going to either win X number of games or Y number of games, or they're going to win the division or they're not. And these games matter like the games in September, like the games in April. So of course they matter, and it certainly matters for the Padres. And to me, it goes a long way if you win this series by winning here today. That's a step in the right direction if the Padres do that today.
And by the way, if it truly did not matter last night to Dodger fans, then why are y'all so sensitive today?
Then why'd you drive down 2 hours and spend $225 to sit in the lower level?
100%. Why are you guys even coming to the games? Why are you being so sensitive in social media platforms? Man, the most sensitive fan base has to be the LA Dodgers. The Dodger fan base, man. Ugh.
It doesn't matter, but we have 300 Dodger fans in our YouTube channel last night telling us how it doesn't matter. But you're sitting there on a Padres channel telling us how it doesn't matter.
But I want to tell you how it doesn't matter.
And here's the other thing about last night and the way it played out, and then we can move on as well, or we can talk about last night because this game's going on, so who even cares?
Exactly.
But last night, by turning to a position player in the 6th inning, let's put this in perspective. This was a really good comment that someone shared last night on the wrap-up show.
Very good comment.
When the Rockies with Buddy Black lost to the Padres 21-0 a month ago, Bud Black, to his credit, did not turn to a position player until the 8th inning. You want to know why? Because it's just the right thing to do. Because it's a disservice to everyone to treat this thing like it's the Savannah Bananas. Okay, like this is Major League Baseball. It's been played since 1876. So don't go get all cute and let Matt Sauer throw 200 pitches and Kike Hernandez with his batting helmet throw another 50 pitches starting the 6th inning. Treat it like it matters, okay? Don't go disrespecting the game and pitch a position player in the 6th inning down 7 or 8 runs when Colorado on a 12-100 year isn't turning to a position player in a 20-0 game until the 8th inning. You're right. There's certain things that really irk me, and one of them is like messing with the baseball gods. And you know what? Maybe they get the last laugh. They've got a $500 million payroll, so maybe they do. Maybe they buy their way to another title. Maybe they do. Maybe the $2 million payroll for Ohtani. Maybe they've got it all figured out in their favor. They got it all situated, and it's true that June doesn't matter and October does. But I'm telling you, what they did last night to me was a step too far. And I think it starts with Dave Roberts. It might be organizational, but I think it was Dave Roberts. Even him admitting last night post-game that it was awkward, to me that means he knows he shouldn't have done it.
100%.
Right?
That comment that we got last night on the chat put like everything into perspective as far as just how ridiculous last night's game was. As you mentioned, Rockies, they are the worst team in baseball, potentially the worst baseball team in history.
Right.
And they lost the game 21-0, and they still waited until at least the 8th inning before they threw out a position player.
Yep.
I mean, the 6th inning with that lineup, down by only 7-8 runs, I think it was.
It's a really good point with the lineup, too. Are you saying that there's no scenario where you stumble into a 4-run inning and make things interesting? It's not possible with their lineup?
I want to know, and we'll never know this, but I would love to know, before that game, what was the plan?
Right.
Because if the plan truly was, hey, we're just going to let this guy go out there and throw until his arm falls off and just pray that he keeps us in this game. And if he doesn't, then we're just going to go to a Kike. Like, you have no confidence in your offense then, because you got to think to yourself, all right, we're going to, regardless of who's out there, we're going to put runs on the board. We're going to put pressure on. And so this is our plan for this. And it seems like their plan was just go out there, let this guy throw until his arm fell off. He got his ass rocked yesterday. He's going to be sent down to the minors either today or tomorrow.
Yeah, I assume he already has.
And if it was a close game and none of your relievers were available, what were you going to do?
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. It's almost like there were two paths probably. It's like, you know what? If we go down, we will not chase this at all. If we go down, let him wear it. If we take a lead, maybe we'll use some of our relievers, but we never really saw that play out.
But even if you're like, hey, if we go down, we're not going to chase it. You're the freaking LA Dodgers with Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, Hernandez,
you chase with your offense.
Give me a break with that.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I'm completely with you. And what does it mean in the grand scheme? I have no idea. Does it mean that the Dodgers are susceptible because of what's going on with their pitching staff and this division will be a tight race all year long? Or maybe it's open for a team like San Diego or San Francisco to potentially win the division? I can't say that all based on last night. And we saw last night as well, people saying, What an embarrassment by the Dodgers organization. Like, they are embarrassing. What a joke. I'm just willing to say last night was embarrassing.
Mhm.
I'm not then widening it out and being like, what happened last night now means that they're not the same team they were in 2024. That's crazy talk.
Yeah.
But what happened last night and what they're dealing with pitching wise is absolutely a storyline. And any talk like last year, Jim. Last year, we went into the season with Otani saying maybe they're historically good. People said 130 wins. This year, they're even better, historically good, maybe 130 wins. They're not going to be historically good in the regular season. Doesn't mean they can't win a World Series, but they're not going to be historically good in the regular season. We're at the halfway point nearly, and they're pacing for 95 wins.
Well, we'll see, because just as early as last year, Padres went on that crazy run.
True.
Imagine if they didn't start 50-50. Imagine
True.
if they were like 10 games over and they still added that run. That's 100 plus wins. That's 104 wins on the year.
I'll ask you this. Based on the eye test, because you're right. Maybe it's too early to say that. But, I mean, is LA going to be historically good?
No.
Just based on what we're seeing right now.
Not 115 game win season.
They win the division.
Yeah.
And as I jinx it, Michael Conforto hits a solo home run.
Well, that's your fault.
Yeah, that's fine.
But most importantly, I know it's so fun to just rip the Dodgers and see all their Dodger fans get so sensitive.
Right.
It's one of my favorite things, because I truly don't care. The number one thing coming out of last night's game was Dylan Cease. Not even close. I don't really know how much I can put into the offense explosion last night, just because of, how many runs were scored against Kike? Like 4, 3?
Actually, 2.
Oh, 2. You're right.
Sawyer was charged with 9 and they won 11-1. But Matt Sawyer.
But Manny's going up there with like his batting gloves like not Velcroed together.
Way,
like,
who is Matt Sawyer?
Yeah, he's some rando. So it was nice to see the offense, especially the last 2 nights, putting up some numbers. 7 runs on Monday night, 11 runs last night. Like, after going damn near over a month of close games, essentially, you finally have a laugher, and you finally get a night where it's not stressful at all. It's not a close game, where we're not sitting on the edge of our seats in a 1-run game. If you're Padres fans, like, it was a complete laugher, and they needed that. They absolutely needed that after the stretch of games they've played that's been so close.
Completely agree. By the way, programming note, because the Padres after this game are going to Arizona to take on the Diamondbacks, and that game on Friday will be on Apple TV. And the play-by-play announcer for that Friday game, Alex Faust, will join us tomorrow at 2:30 to preview Padres and Diamondbacks. So join us tomorrow. More on Padres Dodgers on the other side. Plus, we'll get you ready for Game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight. Plus, Kevin Acee will join us after this game at 5:30. Plus, we'll hear from Mike Schild once this game goes final as well. Padres and Dodgers tied at 1 in the 5th. We're just underway. Don't go anywhere. It's Sean and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. We do have STFC Midweek Live tonight. You're going to hear from Mikey Varis, their head coach. Find out the latest with the club and Major League Soccer. STFC Midweek Live every Wednesday at 6. And you're home for STFC, San Diego Sports 760. Once this game goes final, Padres-Dodgers, we'll hear from Mike Schilt, and Kevin Acee will join us at 5:30. If you missed Jesse Rogers yesterday from ESPN, you'll hear some of that conversation coming up in the 3 o'clock hour as well. Did we get an update real quick? We can get back to Padres-Dodgers in the NBA Finals, but yesterday you were sneezing. So I took matters into my own hands and I DM'd Erin, Jim's wife, and said, make Jim see an allergist, please, with the hand slap emoji on the face. She then wrote back, for those that missed it, with a paragraph and a half explaining what her day has been like with you and how you sneeze all over everything. Mm-hmm. And then you texted me last night saying that she basically booked an allergy appointment for you.
So I walk in the door and the first thing that she says to me, not even like, hi, honey, hi, or anything.
Yeah.
It was, she's on her computer on the couch. She looks over me, dead straight face. She goes, I booked you an allergy appointment. I'm sending you the number and the address to it right now. I was like, okay, thanks.
So you're booked for the first time in your life to see an allergist. Yeah. That's a good place to go. Like Southern California allergy.
Yep.
That's the spot to hit up.
And she's the best. She didn't just go on her computer and look up the very first allergy specialist place that she could find. She actually looked up places and their reviews to make sure that the place that she booked me was a good place.
Covered, insurance wise,
it's all
good. You know what I mean? That's part of. You should ask that question because we've been down that path. All of us have been down that path, and that's
you're like, oh, here's my $20 copay. Actually, it's $3,000. Right. Huh?
What do we think we're going to learn about your allergies? Is there going to be a quick fix? Are they going to fix you?
I think we're going to find out that I'm allergic to basically everything.
They're going to be like, oh, do you live by the ocean or do you go outside? Have you ever seen the sun? Oh, you're allergic to all those things.
Yeah. You're allergic to the sun. You're allergic to trees. You're allergic to air. You're allergic to water. You're allergic to radio.
Updates.
You're allergic to your co-host, John Schaefer. You're allergic to Brent.
Right. All those things.
I'm how'd you know those guys? We just know.
Well, is this scheduled out? When I schedule things or when Kristen does things for me, she's like, oh yeah, it's August of 2027. I'm like, no, I want to go tomorrow.
Right. I can't, I'm impatient. I need something right now.
All right. Well, let us know what they say.
I will.
Because we deal with it every single day if you're sneezing.
I did wake up this morning and within the first 10 minutes of me waking up, I did sneeze.
You seem good.
Well, because I took extra dosage of Claritin today. Yesterday I just took the regular dose.
Gotcha.
Today I took extra because I was like, I'm not gonna risk this today. I cannot go back-to-back days sneezing. That's just that would be a fireable offense.
Can you build a tolerance to Claritin?
Potentially.
But doesn't this beg the question, why don't you, when you have issues with your allergies, always take the extra dose? Because it seems to have worked today, taking the extra dose.
Yeah. I think my problem yesterday was I didn't take Claritin until after my 10th sneeze at home.
You need to do it within the first 2 sneezes.
So after the first sneeze this morning, I took Claritin.
That's interesting.
Yesterday, I woke up, immediately started sneezing, as Aaron told you.
Yeah.
And I didn't take Claritin until right before I left for work. And by that point, at 11:30, I've already sneezed 9-10 times.
Got you.
So I'm already too far in for this Claritin to even work.
Yeah, I got you. I get what you're saying.
So
okay,
that's probably that was probably my mistake yesterday. But
well, it's good to have you back.
Everyone's long national nightmare, and by everyone I mean just John,
mine, and Aaron's
could be over soon as I'm heading to a allergy specialist here in the
after 36
weeks.
Years.
Yeah,
after
exactly.
36 years.
Yeah. Better late than never.
It really is. So we're keeping our eye on this. Would you agree with this, Jim, that I know it's only June, but don't you feel like for last night to truly pay off, you just have to win today? Does last night hold much relevancy for you if you lose the series at home 2-1?
Well, here's the thing. From both sides, Padres win today. What the Dodgers did last night in essentially punting that game in the 6th inning.
Looks worse, I think.
Looks way worse. And you also just took 2 or 3 from the Dodgers. On the flip side, Dodgers win this game. then they can puff their chest, especially Dave Roberts, and say everything he did last night worked out, and all their lame Dodger fans will 100% invade the chat and invade social media and say that was the plan all along.
Almost like it justifies the decision.
Yep.
I understand. You've heard us say this for our listeners. The lose a battle, win a war. I do understand there are times in a season you can't pitch Robert Suarez 5 straight days, or you can't ask Michael King to go into a 7th inning every single time out.
Like Monday night when they had Robert Suarez throw only 10 pitches.
And he didn't throw this. And I completely understood that. But what Dave Roberts did was to the nth degree. I wasn't asking for Dave Roberts to turn to his closer in the 6th inning down 9-0. That's stupid.
No.
But I think by turning to Kike Hernandez in the 6th inning, he just went too far. That's just my point. I'm not saying that all of a sudden their season's for naught, or they can't win 100 games, or they can't win the World Series. That's all stupidity. That's all utter insanity. I'm just saying, for me and for you, it went too far. And by the way, if they do win today, LA, to your point, it almost looks like it justifies it. See, that's why we did it. We put ourselves in a better position to win on Wednesday. It justifies our decision on Tuesday, and that's why I want the Padres to win so badly today.
Just another game in June. That's what you're going to hear. Just another series in June. While it is just another series in June, the atmosphere, the tensions between just the fan bases, not the players. The players are all buddy now.
Well, I'm watching podcasts today. The full podcast is out with Mookie Betts and Jackson Merrill on Bleacher Report.
It's a heightened series because it's Padres Dodgers.
Did you watch any even snippet or clip of Merrill with Betts other than what we talked about yesterday?
I did watch a little bit of it, but not like the whole thing, because I just can't bring myself to be like, oh, this is cool that Mookie Betts, who's on the Dodgers, is having a conversation with Jackson Merrill, who's on the Padres. Like, I don't know, man. I am I'm old school in that sense of, if you're going to do these types of things, do them in the off season, not in the regular season before a series, when we obviously know the storylines here. We obviously know what happened last October. Fans are still, sensitive to all that. And it's Padres Dodgers, and both fan bases like hate each other.
Yeah. The only part I caught was that 30-second snippet where they're going back and forth on rivals. And Merrill's like, yeah, like your rivals like the Giants, right? I'm like, this is done. I can't deal with it.
You can't expect much from a 21-year-old kid who grew up in Maryland and was a Red Sox fan growing up, and he doesn't know anything.
I would imagine, I haven't watched it. I would assume that Merrill grew up a big Mookie Betts fan, because it wasn't that long ago that Mookie Betts was in Boston and Jackson Merrill was in high school or middle school. And Betts was in the major league. So I would imagine.
It's like, I loved your World Series victory back in 2018 over the Dodgers.
How could he not have, would be my guess.
All right.
More on Padres Dodgers. Plus, we're getting you ready for Game 3 of the NBA Finals here until 6. It's John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update is brought to you by WhatsApp. Padres Dodgers, final game of a 3-game series happening right now at Petco Park. And we are all tied up at 1 apiece as Padres are looking for the series win. We're in the top of the 6th inning there. And tonight is game 3 of the NBA Finals, 5:30 tip time in Indy, between the Pacers and the Thunder. On WhatsApp, your personal messages stay private. So things like those selfies from last weekend's party stay between you and your bestie. Because on WhatsApp, your personal messages are yours. No one else can see or hear them, not even them. WhatsApp messages privately with everyone.
All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Why don't we do the wrap early today, Brent? Because this game maybe ends around 4. We'll do the wrap at 3. We'll hear from Jesse Rogers at 3:30. Padres and Dodgers right now tied at 1 in the 6th inning. There's been, Jim, as you can tell, a lot of anticipation here locally about game 3 of the NBA Finals. A lot of discussion in the last 72 hours between games 2 and 3.
Wait, there has?
No, but it's still game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight. It's 3 hours away in Indiana. Pacers and Thunder. Do you know the Thunder tonight?
No.
Guess what the line is? The way I said that, I kind of led you down a path.
I'm going to go with minus 6.5.
For who?
For the Thunder.
Thunder are 6.5-point favorites in Indianapolis tonight.
Which would be crazy.
5.5. They're 5.5-point
Wow.
favorites in game 3. I thought that was a big number too when I heard it. I figured it would be like Oklahoma City -1. Something like that. Like a true coin flip of a game where maybe you give OKC a point in the end. But 5.5?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Isn't that?
I want to be into this finals more. And maybe if it turns into a good finals where you get a game 7, I mean, that's asking a lot though. I mean, how many game 7s have been in NBA final history?
I don't know. Do you know?
I don't know. I think the last game 7 had to have been in what, 2016?
I don't know the answer to that.
I'm trying to think
Yeah.
off the top of your head. Okay, so 2016 game 7, we all know what happens there. Don't remind me.
Warriors lost.
2017, no. 2018, no. 2019, no. 2020, no. 2021, no. 2022,
I like how you're rattling this off.
no. Who won in 2023? Was that the Nuggets?
Yeah. Maybe.
No.
And then 2024, no.
No, 2020, yeah. And then 2024, no. So the last game 7 in the NBA Finals was 2016.
2016.
And then before that was 12 with the Heat and the Spurs. So again, 2 times in the last
15 years.
15 years, a game 7 in the NBA Finals. And to me, it's like the only way that this finals becomes interesting is if they get to a game 7.
Game, yeah. Brent, what do you have in terms of game 7s here?
In the NBA history, there have only been 19 game 7s
In the NBA Finals?
In NBA Finals history, and the home team is 15-4
Wow.
in those game 7s.
Which means, of course, if it did go 7 games, Oklahoma City would still be a sizable favorite. Like, what would that line look like? Oklahoma City at home in a 7th game. They'd probably be favored by 7.5 points.
No, because you have to get there, and
Yeah,
the Pacers would end up having to win 2 more games against them. So I think the line would drop.
But if they win 2 more games against them, that doesn't mean they'll win in Oklahoma.
True.
So, but you're right. 7.5's high. But you're right. You're right. I mean, I hope it goes 7 games. I really do. I'm with you. I'm not overly compelled. I am because of my wife who loves the Pacers. But the games haven't been. Listen, the end of game 1 was awesome. If you were rooting for the Pacers the other night in game 1, the way they closed was precision. It was awesome. They hit shots, and then Halliburton late did his thing. It was a cool final moment. The last 2 possessions, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander missing, Halliburton making was great. The rest of that game wasn't a great game. And then game 2 was never a game. And I'm hoping for a game tonight. I want a really good back and forth game tonight between the Pacers and the Thunder.
Shai's going to win the finals MVP.
If they win it.
If they win it, which I Thunder are going to win this thing. Like Colin today was already talking about the Thunder have already won and blah, blah, blah. And how
is that right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He is like, this series is over, which I kind of agree with him. And he was like trying to talk about the future of the Thunder.
Saying what?
just about like could they be a dynasty? You know, the dynasty talk, blah, blah, whatever. It's like, well, win one first.
Yeah, win one. Yep.
But man, look, I love the NBA, and I'm not trying to like bash on the Thunder.
You don't like the Thunder,
but
dude.
I don't. I don't.
Is it all Shea though? Because here's the thing. Like, I think I like Jalen Williams. I think he's a good. Like, their big three is never going to be Harden, Durant, Westbrook,
or Steph, Clay, Draymond.
But that's kind of not the fault of these
LeBron,
guys.
D Wade, Chris Bosh.
But then again, that was so different. That was veteran players all meeting together at the same time. These are still younger players.
I think what makes teams compelling is either A, going through adversity, like, or B, becoming like a villain type of team. You know, the Warriors in 2015, they were like not the Cinderella, but they were like the new kids on the block, and like, you know, facing LeBron in the finals that helped to elevate their status, right? So they faced some rando team in the finals. They faced LeBron James.
Okay, so would it be, so what could make it different then? Because OKC is a little bit of a new kid on the block. Yeah, they were really good in the regular season last year, but they didn't make it deeper on the postseason. Would it be different if they were taking on like a back-to-back world champ? Not that Boston is, but Boston won last year. If Boston was healthy and it was OKC Boston, would our perception of Oklahoma City be different if they beat the Boston Celtics?
I'm not taking credit for this. Jason McIntyre is on Colin's show.
Yeah,
he came up with this idea, and I thought it was like whoa, this would elevate everybody with the Thunder. It would definitely elevate Shea, and it would make them more compelling and interesting to watch.
Let me hear it, because I haven't heard it.
They have so many assets. They have so many draft picks. They have so many resources and so many players to trade.
Who do you want them adding?
Kevin Durant,
who is on the trade block reportedly as of today.
They get Kevin Durant, and they use all their draft capital.
Durant
and they
to
get
Oklahoma City?
Back to Oklahoma City.
Isn't he persona non grata?
Not if he goes back there.
Can he? Serious question. Can he?
Now, the thing would be is if the Thunder win this finals and Kevin Durant would go back, it doesn't matter.
That's like the Warriors thing. He's joining a champion.
Like, oh, Kevin Durant would not be the player to bring OKC its first championship. Like, the prodigal son has returned type of feel.
But also, like, he is a classic example. When I think about all these athletes that have left the place, I think KD is at the top of the list of a guy that can't go back. Like, Kevin Durant would have had a statue in Oklahoma City if he just stayed. Now, easier said than done. He had a right to leave, like all these players have left, including LeBron James. But in Oklahoma, I just don't think Kevin Durant is welcome back. I really don't.
I think that, and Jason also made the point that the way that it would only work, and the way that it would, or one of the ways that it would work, is if the Thunder lost this finals.
Yeah, it makes sense, because then they haven't won the title. He's the one that ultimately gets them over the top,
and then
you can veteran player,
and then it makes more sense. And you know, kind of like a 2016 Warriors thing, right? But then Kevin Durant would be, again, going to a super team, not a super team, but just like one of the best teams in the league, and he's like the final piece that they need.
Let me ask you this. As a 37-year-old off the injuries, is he fully capable of being the missing piece to put a team over the hump even now?
Oh, he's still top 10 scorer in the league. He's not top 10. Well, I think he might be a top 10 player, but like, He's not Kevin Durant of pre-Achilles injury, but he still put up 27 a night.
Yeah, he was 26.6 this past year. 26.6. He shot 52.7% from the floor.
So he can absolutely still make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
He would instantly
That'd be interesting.
Raise the level of intrigue for the Thunder. And if I'm just looking at from not like a basketball standpoint, from a more visibility standpoint and people actually wanting to watch the Thunder, Kevin Durant would absolutely raise the bar of that.
I like
100%.
That. I really do. I like it. I don't know how feasible it is. And by the way, to your point, if they win it all and they're heavily favored to do it, there's no world where Kevin Durant's ending up,
because he's going to have to okay the trade and accept that,
and then they're coming off a championship.
Yeah, it's not going to happen, but for people to actually maybe care about Shea, Kevin Durant would do that, because he would make the Thunder a team that the NBA wants to put on primetime games
All the
all
time.
year long.
Where do you think KD realistically could end up? Give me like 2 spots.
I'm gonna go San Antonio.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go the Knicks. I think the Knicks are desperate right now. They're striking out on all these coaches that they are trying to get, and they have no plan. And I think Dolan's gonna cave, and I think he's gonna do some risky stuff. And I think that he's, now that he's fired Tibbs and kind of made this thing a mess when he didn't have to do that. I think they're going to buckle under pressure here and try to figure out a way to get KD.
Is there a scenario where KD plays for all 30 teams before the end of his career?
Yes.
He's not close, but he has.
Right.
It's beginning to pile up a little bit in terms of teams that he has played for. Kevin Durant in his
the only place that he could win a championship was with Steph Curry, and he decided to leave Steph Curry.
He could have won more.
He's decided to leave Steph.
But he went to Brooklyn.
Oh yeah,
I mean, with all the winning,
all the winning there. And I'm actually looking back now. You look at Steph's legacy, right? 2022 when Steph won the title with the
Kobe without Shaq.
Yeah,
I mean, just a little. It's nice
bit.
when you just do it and you don't have the full supporting cast that you previously had. So you've done it in one era and you've done it in another. I do think it further cements your legacy.
And he already did it before KD. He just didn't win the Finals MVP, which everybody decided to make the number one talking point to discredit Steph's career. That he didn't win the Finals MVP. What?
Right. That's a good point.
He that 2022 title. I bet you if you asked him, he would tell you that's the sweetest one of them all.
On the other side, an update from Petco Park between the Padres and the Dodgers. All of a sudden, things have swung. Plus, we'll get to the wrap at 3 p.m. You'll hear from Jesse Rogers of ESPN in the 3 o'clock hour as well. Stay with us, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, remember, you can listen to John and Jim on the all-new iHeartRadio app. If you put San Diego Sports 760 in your presets, you can listen live weekdays from 2 to 6. If you put John and Jim in your presets, you can listen back to any hour or interview from the show as well. So make sure to download the all-new iHeartRadio app. The update from Petco Park in downtown San Diego, Jim, you know where it is? East Village, by the water.
Yes, John.
Bay. Is the Dodgers have taken a 4-1 lead on a 3-run home run from Teoscar Hernandez. The first home run allowed by Jeremiah Estrada this year has given the Dodgers a 6th inning lead. Now, this game is not over. Padres are batting in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Nope, it's over. We're in the 6th inning.
You turn to
Tyler Wade, go out there and give me 3 innings.
Campy, you have a new role.
By the way, Luis Campusano, you know how, like, when you're completely buried is the only time you can get an at-bat is against a position player?
Yeah, and that's what happened against Kike Hernandez. He granted out. By the way, my phone won't charge, Jim. Just wanted to let you know.
Do you have a USB-C charger or a lightning cable?
I don't know. The one I always have.
Let me see.
It's just, I think there's something going on.
Let me see. Let me see the cable. Let me see the cable.
It just won't charge. It's not the same as yours.
You know what's so funny is we're such card degenerates now.
We're both on card.
We both have Whatnot app on our phone.
Maybe that's why the phone's not charging, or maybe it's because I dropped it down my staircase.
Oh, that's probably that's a problem.
I'll have to figure that out potentially. But again, this game is 4-1 now. Dodgers, bottom of the 6th inning. Can the Padres put together a comeback? It would be an impressive one. Down 4-1 in the 6th inning at home to try to win this series against the LA Dodgers. Post-game, we'll hear from Kevin Acee. He joins us at 5:30. Post-game, we'll hear from Mike Schilt. And then the Padres have an off day and look at Arizona.
And if they lose this game, they lost this game by not getting the starter, whoever it was. Kasparius, not getting to him early on. I mean, the Dodgers are throwing out a bunch of no-name guys, and you did a good job yesterday. You know, Dustin May on Monday, he's not the same guy, but still, he did a good job on Monday as well. And now, again, game 3, it's like you got to jump on him early. You can't just that's the problem that I was hoping didn't happen is you score 11 runs last night. You come out today and it's like 1 run through 5 innings, like blah. Yeah,
and the offense has been an issue for the last month until it wasn't in this series where they scored the 7 runs 2 days ago and they scored the 11 runs yesterday. This would be the most impressive performance, obviously, of the series because you would do it in real come from behind fashion against like the A team of the Dodger bullpen because they've turned it over now to their bullpen. The Padres will have the tying run at the plate here in the 6th inning. So we'll see. It's the first of 4 regular season series between the Padres and the Dodgers. They meet again next week. At Dodger Stadium for 4 games. It's the beginning of like a long story, like a journey here between Padres and Dodgers. I think I mentioned it Monday. They can meet 20 times this year if you include the postseason, if they meet there and played like a 6 or 7 game series. So it's still very early in the season. People are going to really overreact to this result, I think, because this result is the series winner.
Yep.
So I do think there'll be a lot of reactions say like, oh my gosh, what happened? They didn't capitalize. Or wow, what a come from behind win. Padres are in first place in the West. What happened to the Dodgers? It's going to be too much reaction one way or the other because it's the rubber match of a series between the Padres and the Dodgers.
Yes.
You know, right? There's just going to be a lot of reaction to what happens.
Yes, there will be a ton of reaction to it. And that's what I was talking about on Monday. Before the series started, it's like whatever happens over these next 7 games are not going to make or break your season unless they got, swept in every series.
Right. 0-7.
Then it's like, ooh, we have a problem here.
Right.
But, other than that happening, they're still in a good position and they still are right in the thick of it. They still are going to have plenty of opportunities. And one thing that nobody's talking about yet is all they really have to do is stay in it because their September schedule, and we've talked about it here recently. Man, their September schedule it feels like a gift on a platter for you and it gives you such a good opportunity to really, really do some damage. If you just stay close enough. September schedule with how many times you play the Rockies and the White Sox and the Orioles and the Reds.
16 games.
Man.
Yeah, I would agree completely with that. And it is interesting how you put it in perspective because, like, I know you and you're a reactor. So,
Sell the team.
But if you're saying that, then it's 100% accurate that we do have to remember it is June 11th and it is still the first half of the season. They haven't played 80 games. Shoot, I don't even think they played 70 games with today. So there's a ton of baseball in front of these teams. It would still be a great win. If the Padres can win this game and come from behind fashion here today, this would be a terrific win. I don't know where it would rank in terms of best wins of the year, but it would be up there to come back from 4-1 down against the LA Dodgers potentially and win this game. And remember, this is the 17-game stretch, talking about schedules. This is the 17 games where you're facing the Giants and the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers and the Brewers. This is the stretch we said just tread water. There's no Michael King. There's no Yu Darvish. Can you win 8 or 9 games? So they've positioned themselves to do that. They're 5-4 to begin this stretch. We'll see if they win today or not. But they've played well enough in this stretch that I like what you're saying about September because the schedule will lighten up and hopefully they can fully capitalize when that happens later in the year.
Yeah, you're going to face the Rockies 7 times in like a 10-game span.
Where you're looking at 6. Hopefully, like if you play well, you're winning 6 times.
And I mean, I haven't looked at the Dodgers schedule, but I'll do that right now because we got
they play the Rockies 7 times in September. So probably
plenty
not.
Of time here. All right, I'm looking at the Dodgers schedule. Getting to September.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, they do play the Rockies 3 times. And that's at home. But in the days that the Padres play the Rockies, the Dodgers and Giants will be going at it head to head. So that second week of September, Dodgers, Giants in San Francisco, 3 games there. Then Dodgers come home for a 7-game homestand against the Phillies and the Giants. And then they end their season on the road with 6 games against Arizona and Seattle.
That's not an easy schedule at all. Not at all.
And you hope that in September when they play the Pirates, Paul Skeens pitches one of those games.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah, that could be advantage Padres if they can keep it close into September. Of course, we're looking down the pipe line here, but
we're going big picture. If they do not come back and win today, that's what we're doing on the John and Jim show.
Even if they do win today, it's nice to know that maybe things shape up well for them in the late stages of the season. If this thing is close in the second half of the year. All right, here's what we're going to do in the 3:00 hour. We're going to do the wrap on the other side. We normally do it at 4, but because the Padres and Dodgers could be done around 4, we'll do the wrap coming up on the other side. In addition to that, if you missed our conversation with Jesse Rogers from ESPN, you'll hear it at 3:30. He mentioned some trade targets for the Padres. We had a great conversation with Jesse yesterday. If you missed that conversation, you'll hear it coming up at 3:30. Then Kevin Acee will join us live from Petco at 5:30, and we'll hear from Mike Schilt postgame as well. So Padres and Dodgers playing right now down at Petco Park. We'll take a timeout. On the other side, we'll get to the wrap to kick off hour 2 of John and Jim. So don't go anywhere. We've got the latest from Petco Park. We've got you covered all afternoon. Stay with us. Hour 2 of John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. That's next.
This update's brought to you by Staples. Padres Dodgers, final game of their 3-game series underway at Petco Park. We're in the top of the 7th inning, and the Dodgers leading the Padres 4-2. And tonight, game 3 of the NBA Finals in Philadelphia, in Indiana, 5:30. Neutral court game, yeah. 5:30 tip-off, Pacers and Thunder. How many times have we all said that was easy? Well, Staples Easy button is back. And it's got everyone saying it again for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos, plus quality products delivered next day to over 98% of the U.S. Staples. That was easy.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of John and Jim. We are here until 6. Kevin Acey will join us from Petco at 5:30 after Padres and Dodgers. We'll hear from Jesse Rogers, ESPN, this hour. If you missed our conversation about the upcoming trade deadline, he has some names for Padres fans to keep an eye on. You'll hear that coming up at 3:30. We've got Dirks Bentley tickets to give away. We'll do that in the 4 o'clock hour as well. So we're keeping you updated on Padres and Dodgers. Jim just had that update for you. Now, we typically do the wrap, Jim, in the 4 o'clock hour. But today we're going to do it now because I feel like at 4 p.m. we might be talking about the end of this Padres-Dodgers game.
You're probably right on that, John.
Right? So let's just talk about, let's do the wrap right now.
It's time for the wrap. Presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Guys, 1 year from today, the World Cup will begin. Who do you think is going to win it?
Yeah. Who won last time?
Argentina.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Messi's first World Cup.
Yeah. Who do you think wins this time? It's not the U.S.
No. I'll stick with Argentina again, going back to back.
Argentina?
That or France.
I like it. Okay. I like you have the breakdown. I'm Googling 2026 World Cup favorites.
Italy? No, I'm just kidding.
Spain and France are the top contenders according to AI. Not Iverson, like artificial intelligence.
Oh, AI told you that?
I'm going to go with, what about Brazil?
Sure.
Have we been sleeping on Brazil?
Might have.
When's the last time Brazil won a World Cup? They won it in the U.S. in 94.
It's been a minute.
So I say Brazil in the return to the States and North America wins it in 2026. Will you be watching 1 year from today?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's
World
gonna be awesome.
Cup. Oh, man. World Cup final, World Cup games. Like, they just feel different.
For $7.
And they are different, obviously.
For $7, do you know where the World Cup opener is? Like the city that the World Cup opener will be played in 1 year from today. Free sushi roll.
New York?
Wrong. Next question.
LA?
I'll tell you tomorrow.
San Diego?
Mexico City.
Oh.
San Diego. Mexico City. It'll involve the Mexican national team and the opponent.
Okay.
Next question.
Are you surprised OKC is favored by 5.5 tonight?
Not really, just because the Thunder have led this series for
All the minutes.
93 minutes.
Right.
And the Pacers have led for like 3. They should be up 2-0 right now. And they're going to go up 3-0. They're going to go up 2-1 tonight.
Do you think Indiana has a better chance to win tonight or in game 4? Just all things being equal.
I think tonight they have it. Tonight is their best chance to go up 2-1.
The adrenaline, the crowd,
Yeah.
everything that goes into that.
And here's the thing. If they win tonight, game 4 will be rocking in Indy.
Absolutely. And a must win for the Thunder, right?
If the Pacers lose tonight, the Thunder win.
Yeah.
Thunder are going to go up 3-1. They're going to finish the thing off in 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, Tyrese Halliburton dealing with an ankle. per Shams. I mean,
Yeah,
they don't say he's in
he was
question
limping
about
after the
playing,
game.
but yeah, I mean, Tyrese Halliburton dealing with an ankle, had a good fourth quarter in that loss in game 2, but that's something to keep an eye on. Next question.
Who should the Knicks hire to be their next head coach?
Well, did you see this?
Breaking news.
Yeah, they just, or Shams is reporting. Where is it? Was it Quinn Snyder?
Quinn Snyder of the
Yeah.
Hawks.
So
They've asked to speak with, right?
according to Shams, the Knicks requested permission from the Atlanta Hawks to speak with their head coach Quinn Snyder, but were firmly denied.
Firmly.
Okay. James Dolan is.
So wait, they've been
Oh my
denied by multiple teams now in their quest.
They've been-
Jason Kidd. and
Jason
the Mavericks.
Kidd. They've been denied by the Rockets. They've been denied by the Atlanta Hawks now, and they've been denied by the Minnesota Timberwolves.
I have an idea. Before you fire your coach, who's done a good job, have a plan.
Have a plan.
If you have something that's already been ironed out, then it can make sense. If you think there's a real upgrade and you're doing it decisively with a plan, okay. But when you fire a coach that's been successful, okay, you haven't gotten to an NBA Finals like Evan, but he was winning in the postseason, and now just weeks on end pass, and you're getting denied left and right, you're ultimately going to hire whom?
James Dolan is such a clown. Such
It's
a clown.
really poorly run organization, as everyone knows. Now
Awful.
they've had on-court success in the last couple of years, but to put it over the top, it's just not going to happen because he gets in the way of himself.
He is a clown. Everybody's saying no. Everybody. Now, again, if I'm these teams,
Why
no.
would you?
Why would I?
Right.
He's asking, like, hey, Dallas, can we have Jason Kidd? And by the way, Jason Kidd is a pretty decent head coach. We took the Mavericks to the finals a couple years
And
ago.
Dallas
and
is supposed to be good in the
Yeah.
future with Cooper Flag.
Houston's supposed to be really good.
Yeah, exactly.
Atlanta, nah.
Yeah, we'll see them.
Minnesota, really good. They're in the
Yeah.
Western Conference Finals.
Come
You
to the
guys,
Knicks.
you are literally brain dead, James Dolan, if you think that, oh, you know what? Up and coming team in the Timberwolves, or not Timberwolves, but the Rockets. Let's ask for Ime Udoka. Huh?
How about Stephen A? Just get it done.
Just do it.
Just hire Patrick Ewing already.
Oh yeah, Patrick Ewing.
That's my
guy.
big guess. Yeah.
9-70 at Georgetown. No, I don't know what he was.
Sometimes you can be a crappy college coach and a good NBA coach. So,
Or vice versa. Next question.
how many All Stars are the Padres going to have?
Who's a lock?
Manny Machado.
Yep.
Robert Suarez.
Those are your two locks.
Yeah.
But there's a third out there.
Are you locking in?
I'm not locking. I'm saying there's a third possibility.
I
You
thought
know who's the third possibility?
Tatis?
Yeah, it's not based on his play, but I mean, he could either A, be voted in, or just with like the number of sheer outfielders, maybe he could make that team. Not if he continues to play like this.
No.
To be clear, but is it possible Tatis is on that team? He hasn't earned it. But it's also a fan vote.
It is, and we'll see how
He's
the fan
not-
votes look in like the first round.
He's not getting voted in, right?
I don't think he's getting voted in.
Neither do I.
But who else is in right field, like in the National League?
Right. That's a good question.
Could Jackson Merrill make it as a reserve?
Yeah, I think he could. Again, I think you need to see some of these numbers tick up, like power. Are you going to make an all-star team as a reserve with under 10 home runs?
But I mean, he's got an OPS in the high 800s. He's hitting over 300. Maybe
Right
missing
now.
some games might factor into it, and still has time. I mean,
There's time.
I think locks or Manny.
What about Sheetsy?
No,
Numbers have tailed off a little.
Yeah, I don't think he's getting over. I don't think he's getting in over Ohtani as a starting DH in the National League.
that would be a hot take. Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's
weighty.
let's get up there and be like, you know what? Sheets has had a better year than Ohtani, and here's why.
You're like,
No, you
click.
can't do that.
Nope.
Yeah, can't do that.
But definitely Manny. Definitely Suarez.
Schulte
almost
going to
said
be on
Story.
Schulte going to be on Robert's staff.
How
does the staff work?
Probably not.
Is it just the Dodgers staff?
Dodger staff, and he gets to pick like a.
He gets to pick reserves, doesn't he? Doesn't the staff pick reserves?
Yes, they do.
But you have to have still one player from all the teams.
Yes, that too.
Yeah.
And also he can pick like the honorary
Right.
other managers to be with him in the dugout.
You think Roberts is going to put like Matt Sauer on that team just because he wore it?
He told him before the game, I'll put you on
Hey,
the
listen,
roster.
You're on the roster if you go 111 pitches or more.
Yeah. Probably not.
I bet they celebrated him like he's the reason why they're going to win the World Series.
Oh,
Right?
if it was Schulte, it'd be this.
Oh, it was the same thing. It'd be the exact same thing.
Build this guy a statue.
100%.
His arms are falling off.
Jesse Rogers, if you missed it, you'll hear from Jesse Rogers coming up at 3:30. We found it to be a pretty good conversation because we talked about some of the trade targets possibly for the Padres in left field. That remains kind of hanging over this portion of the season, the upcoming trade deadline, because we know that all of these teams have a chance to improve themselves, including the Padres. The Padres, it seems clear as day. Every single article is about their number one need, and every single article keeps pointing to left field, whether it's Jim Bowden, Jeff Passan, yeah, The Athletic. They've all talked about left field being the Padres' number one need.
I think too, left field, along with just like maybe another bat off your bench. Can you go out and get 2 bats at the deadline?
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, they need a bat in left field, but also late in games, if Martin Maldonado and Elias Diaz and Tyler Wade and Brandon Lockridge are your options off the bench, or Jason Hayward, those aren't good options to have.
Right.
Like, how many times is Elias Diaz as your hit for Martin Maldonado? You're like, what?
Mm-hmm.
You need to have somebody at least capable off your bench. And right now, everybody on their bench is just blah.
So you're saying, like, in an ideal world, and I agree with the idea that they're not a piece away. I don't think most teams are a piece away from being like a World Series champion. You know, and I don't look at the Padres right now, and I know it's only June, as being like, if you address left field, everything's fixed. I agree. I think that the bench could use upgrades. Starting pitching, we've talked about. You can always have extra relievers, I think, in your bullpen. But I guess I would start. I'm probably starting in left field. I could make the argument for starting pitching, and I probably will make the argument for starting pitching at the end of July. But I see the hole that's been evident all year in left field, so it's easy to probably start there.
And Jose Iglesias is a good option to have off the bench, especially against left-handers.
Mm-hmm.
But you just need a little more. And if they don't get it, so be it. There's other pressing needs with this team. But, you know, they have to at least get another bat.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
Absolutely. If not more, to your point.
Yeah.
I will say this today. If the Padres win,
Are they battling right now?
they're battling. They trailed 4-1. They pulled to within 4-2 and a sac fly. Very Padres-esque. And now they have 2 on in the 7th inning with only 1 out for Fernando Tatis Jr. But I'll tell you right now, if the Padres win this game, you know where Mike Schilt is starting? It's with Martin Maldonado walking in a run earlier and now walking in the 7th inning in a 4-2 game to extend this rally out for Fernando Tatis Jr. with 1 out. It's going to be the Martin Maldonado walk game if the Padres come back and win. The number 9 hitter has been walked multiple times in big spots today by the Dodgers, and we'll see if the Padres can capitalize on that or not.
Should I bump this tweet? Now I know it's not a.
So Jim tweeted a couple of days ago with 2 outs in the 9th against the Dodgers, a Tatis walk-off homer, and I won't tweet for a month. Now here is Tatis representing the go-ahead run, and you're considering retweeting it right now?
It's not a walk-off. That doesn't.
No, it'd be a go. This would be a big home run. This would be a big home run.
It'd be a pretty big home run. I would appreciate if Fernando Tatis Jr. would do that here.
Can we speak that into existence somehow?
Give baseball gods. Give me a Fernando Tatis Jr. 3-run homer right now, please.
If it was only that easy. All right, updates from Petco on the other side, plus Jesse Rogers, ESPN at 3:30. We'll hear from Kevin Acee coming up as well. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. We'll hear from Jesse Rogers from ESPN at 3:30 in the upcoming trade deadline on the Padres, the Dodgers, the whole enchilada coming up at 3:30. We'll hear from Kevin Acee at Petco. We have drama, Jim, in the 7th inning.
Tatis did not hit a home run, by the way.
Yeah, but he did reach base safely with a hard hit walk.
Yeah, but
So you can still tweet.
Yeah, but I never said anything.
But you can still tweet. But anyway, the drama is Machado batting with the bases loaded and 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th inning, and the Padres trailing 4-2. How many times has he come through, Jim, in the 7th inning or later here recently in this type of spot? A lot. The answer is a lot. And if he comes through here, they could tie it or take a lead potentially.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. Why do you say it like that?
I don't know.
It's a big spot, isn't it?
It's the biggest spot, John.
Like this season. This is the season is on the line. And we are all getting the chance to watch it.
The season's on the line.
The season is on the line. Well, again, we'll keep you updated. We'll hear from Schulte post game. It's been all the drama we expected for the 3-game series. I feel like we've gotten it, haven't we? The 8-7-10 inning game, the Dave Roberts white flag game. Today's back and forth game. I feel like it's lived up to the hype.
Yeah, even with the 11-1 win last night, it still was compelling with everything that Dave Roberts did in the 6th. Is Manny just grounded out and the Padres don't score with the bases loaded in 1 out. That's on Luis Ariz, by the way.
That's not on Machado swing 3-0 to ball.
No, that's
but he's earned. He can swing 4-0.
Yes,
that's a bad example, but yeah.
Luis Ariz, what the hell? That's on you, buddy. Infield fly.
What's his deal,
bro? What's his
deal?
Awful.
Can you go off? Can you tweet about Ariz? Seriously, how much of this is on you? Because you're not tweeting about these guys, and you're letting them go into season-long slumps.
Bro, I can only just wield.
You can't do all 20.
I can only do so much.
Last
dude.
night you had power everywhere.
I know.
Bogarts hits.
I know.
Maldonado hits.
I know. Manny's amazing. I get it.
So at what point you just take matters into your own hands?
With great power comes great responsibility.
True. So you can't just wield it unnecessarily.
And I'll give you $100 if you tell me what movie that's from.
Office Space.
Oh my God.
I have no idea, dude. Nor do I care.
I'll give you another guess. Come on.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Give me a serious guess.
Marvel.
No, you can't just say a brand. You got to give me a movie.
That'd be like, what team won the NBA Finals? NBA.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, you can do this. Come on, John.
With great power comes great responsibility. Superman. Spider-Man.
There you go.
Is that serious?
Yeah.
That's amazing that I would get that on any guess.
Took you 4 tries.
On your 8th try.
I was going to say Star Wars. Because that sounds like a Star Wars type lot. Like in a galaxy far, far away, there was a lot of responsibility to be had. Or something like that. Right? Like the opening.
That's my favorite one when Darth Vader fought Spider-Man.
Do they all have the opening?
That was a good one.
Star Wars, yes.
Do they have the opening with the words?
One of them
words. The crawl.
That goes back?
I don't think Rogue One has it, but that's the only one.
Right. They only have it with the Star Wars,
Yeah, the opening crawl.
Opening crawl, John. Episode 1, episode 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
If I were to only watch one.
Great question.
It's a good question, isn't it?
I think you have to go with, just so you understand stuff, probably episode 4.
Why would I start at 4? I would start at 1. If I was gonna understand it, I would start at 1.
4 is the first one that came out.
Yeah. George Lucas, what he did, because he knew that he didn't have the right technology to make what the movies he wanted to make. Back in the 70s, he started with episode 4, 5, 6, and then he went back to 1, 2, 3.
Is that why we started on 1360?
Exactly.
That's exactly right. We didn't have the resources to be on a better
just
station.
Put it on 1360.
Yeah.
It can be heard in Mission Valley. Dude, I don't know.
Man.
I will say this in this 4-2 game that is now in the top of the 8th inning where Manny Machado just grinded out with the bases loaded on a 3-0 pitch. Brent shaking his head. I am cool with it because it's Machado and the way he's played. He gets all benefit of the doubt right now. Who disagrees?
That would be
Brent
nobody.
disagrees.
I do a little bit.
Okay.
Just because it'd be one thing if it was like a 3-1 count or something, but he literally just sat there and looked at 3 pitches with the bases loaded, and they've already walked in 1 run today.
True.
So
and 3 walks in the inning.
yeah, so just it's trending that he's probably going to throw another. Just take one more pitch.
Do you have an issue with it, Jim?
I agree with Brent.
Okay.
But I'm not going to get like upset about it. I agree with what Brent's saying, absolutely, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, what are you doing? Because he has done so much.
Yep.
To me, that inning falls on Luis Ariz.
The batter before with 1 out and the bases loaded. It's on you to do some damage there.
You
Get a run in.
have an out to work with.
Yeah.
At least get a sac fly.
I agree with
and
you.
you pop it up, bro.
On the infield. Yeah, he popped it up on the infield. You're right. I mean, they just wasted a golden opportunity. Bases loaded, 1 out, all via the free pass, and did not score. Still time to work with, but trailing 4-2 to the Dodgers in the 8th inning.
Yeah, that was bad.
It wasn't great. All right, we will hear from Jesse Rogers coming up. Really good conversation. Jesse Rogers has been at ESPN a long time, working with Jeff Paston, so we'll hear from Jesse Rogers coming up. We will have Kevin Acee on the show today. He's going to join us, I believe, from down at Petco Park around 5:30. He'll be posting his recap, and then he's going to join us from Petco Park as the Padres will head for Arizona after this game to begin a 3-game series with the Diamondbacks. And also in the 4:00 hour, your chance to win those Dierks Bentley tickets. We have a 4-pack of tickets, in fact, today to give away to see Dierks Bentley. This is coming up at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater on June 19th. And for tickets and information, you can visit Ticketmaster.com. Again, that's tickets to see Dierks Bentley at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, June 19th. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
And you know what's surprising about that Luis Ariz at bat is this year with runners in scoring position, he's hitting 320 with an 803 OPS.
So he's been productive with men in scoring position, but just not right there.
And it's not small, like, 2 for or 3 for whatever.
Right.
He's 16 for 50
Yeah, his average is down.
with 18 RBIs.
His average is down, but he has produced in those spots, but he didn't come through, unfortunately, for the Padres right there.
He has 25 RBIs in the season, and 18 of them are because, runners in scoring position. And that's because he doesn't hit home runs.
Yeah, exactly.
But still.
Yeah, wasted opportunity, no doubt. We'll hear from Jesse Rogers on the other side. Stay with us. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update is brought to you by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Dodgers Padres, game 3 of their 3-game series today at Petco Park. Dodgers lead the Padres right now 4-2, top of the 8th inning. And tonight is game 3 of the NBA Finals. Pacers and Thunder, 5:30 tip time in OKC. Rebate funds are running out fast. Don't get left behind at Anderson Plumbing. They're buying back your old water heater and giving you $500 in instant savings. Call Anderson PHA today. Nobody wows clients like they do.
All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. We'll have Kevin Acee with us post-game. We'll hear from Mike Schilt post-game. Dodgers, Padres should wrap up at some point within the next 30 minutes or so. If you missed Jesse Rogers from ESPN yesterday, really good conversation. We started off talking about the dynamic of this quote-unquote rivalry or series between the Padres and the Dodgers. Does he think it's among the best in baseball?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly is past Dodgers Giants. I think everybody out there would probably agree with that. I mean, it takes a couple playoff series to kind of get things going in that direction. Maybe, both teams spending a lot of money. Check both those boxes, right? The Padres spent, the Dodgers we know spend. They faced each other in the playoffs. So I would say it's as good as any rivalry going, especially considering Dodgers Padres wasn't a huge thing a few years ago. It was always the Dodgers and Giants for many, many years. So again, kudos to the Padres for sort of jumping into that category where they can say they're a rival of the Dodgers. I'm located in Chicago where, we try to make a Cubs Sox thing going, but there's almost never been a season where they've both been good. So it takes a lot for a rivalry to sort of materialize, and I think that's happened with LA and San Diego.
Padres got off to obviously the red hot start, 14-3. They've cooled off here. They've had injuries. They're now 9 games above 500 from a distance. And watching the Padres, where do you feel about where they stand right now? Being 9 games over and sitting in the wild card race here in the National League.
Certainly in the mix. Obviously, they've proven that they're a decent team. I do think this is going to be a weird thing to say, but I think from the outside looking in, I think their offense is a little bit overrated. And I mean, by names alone, it looks like it should be better, but there's holes at the bottom. I feel like they're like almost an old school National League lineup, really good for a long while down and then at the bottom, it's like that catcher pitcher situation. Well, it kind of exists for left field and catcher in San Diego. And when you again talk about the names on paper, there probably should be a little bit more power there. Now, Jackson Merrill was hurt, but he's back and he's hitting the ball, not necessarily out of the park. Xander Bogaerts, not necessarily out of the park. So I like their offense. I don't love their offense for those couple reasons. Now, maybe the power will pick up, but we know when it comes to October, you need power. You need, as many guys in the order going. And I do feel like there's a little bit of hole at the bottom there. When Merrill was out, I thought it was really exposed. I really thought it was a 1-5, 1-6 lineup, and it really got exposed. Now that he's back, it's a little bit better, but still, Gavin Sheets has been, quite defined there. Without his power, where would you be in terms of the slug? And again, getting almost nothing out of left field and catcher. If you look at OPS and some of the other numbers. So I think their offense, I think the answers are internally, to be honest, and you just got to have the best 1-7 possible, unless AJ can find a catcher on the market that can hit, not exactly a position that grows on trees. Probably find a left fielder / DH out there. Marcell Ozuna probably be available if the Braves are out of it. So he could improve his offense a little bit, but I do think it has to come internally. And then obviously if Yu Darvish returns, that's going to look a lot better on the mound. The one thing is the Padres can pitch out of the bullpen. That will keep them in the race alone.
Yeah, it's really good perspective. Jesse Rogers, ESPN, with us right now on John and Jim. I'm curious to get your thoughts on Xander. It's his 3rd year with San Diego. If you look at his numbers in Boston compared to San Diego, there's a stark difference. His OPS is down almost 100 points. He has a 637 OPS this year. He's hitting 232. He was given $280 million. How bad of a deal is this, in your opinion?
I mean, all these deals eventually look bad. The key is to get the front end. And look, I would say easier to hit at Fenway than Petco, right?
Yep.
But he did it 19 home runs that first season at Petco. You're not asking him to be Aaron Judge, but he needs to be that version. I mean, he's on pace for, I think, less than 10 home runs this season.
Yeah.
That's not going to really cut it for the amount of payroll he's taking up and what he did just short 2 years ago. And I'd ask him to even be the earlier version where he's hitting 30-plus home runs. So I haven't watched him enough to know if his power's been completely zapped. But, you signed a guy for that huge contract at age 30. You expect closer to age 37, 38 where he might lose his power. Power usually ages okay. It's speed and other things that you worry about. So I do wonder what's going on there. Maybe he's just off to a slow start in the final 3.5 months. We'll see a power surge, but certainly you need more. You need more for the amount of payroll he's taking up.
Do you feel like Shohei Ohtani is having maybe a better start to this season than he had last year? And could we see maybe better numbers than maybe not the stolen bases, but I mean, the guy's on pace for 50-plus home runs already. He's put together another MVP campaign, it looks like, here to start 2025.
Yeah, I really don't differentiate his seasons. They're just all incredible, right? He won't steal as much. He's trying to get back on the mound. And when he does that, and if he's successful, watch out. I mean, again, it's back to the old Ohtani, contributing in all different ways. So it's really hard to say that this year's better than last. They're all great. Yeah. They're all great. Probably, as I look at it, less opportunities for RBIs when you bat that high sometimes. Last year, he got the opportunities and drove in 130, not as much this year, but, RBI is not the biggest deal. Everything else is clicking for him. So I feel like he's just being Shohei Ohtani. And when he gets on the mound, it's just another level, especially if he can be successful. I mean, there's some doubts whether he should pitch or how well he'll pitch. But I love the fact that they're going to give him a chance. I think they're playing it real cool with him, saving him for the biggest moments, maybe just even October or mostly October. And that'll be interesting to just see that in itself.
Do you think this will be a race in the NL West? I mean, you look up right now, the Dodgers, Giants, and Padres, I think, are separated by combined 2 games. Do you expect that to be the case throughout the course of 162, or how do you see this shaping up?
I think it could be the case for a long while. I covered the Cubs in 2016, and I thought one of Joe Maddon's best managing years, the manager at the time, was actually in 2017, because they had won the championship for the first time in 108 years. It was hard to imagine putting the pedal to the metal right away. And so he waited. They were even, I think, under 505 games back at the All-Star break, and then they went into overdrive and took over the division in the second half. When you play 7 months of baseball and expectations are through the roof, you've got to pace yourself. And I think the Dodgers are letting teams hang around for a while. Now, obviously, their pitching injuries are maybe contributing to it, but I do feel at any point they will take over the division. That's just my feeling on it. They're too deep not to. They've got to get healthy in the rotation. So I think they're going to let teams hang around for a while. But come August, come post All-Star break, post trade deadline, I think they will take over the division. I rarely pick a team to repeat because of all the obstacles that come in the way, but I did pick them to repeat. So that's how I feel about the Dodgers.
This might be a little early to ask this question, but it's San Diego, and AJ Preller could literally make a move in 2 seconds. But looking ahead here, Jesse, at the trade deadline, in your opinion, who are some players that you expect to be on the move here come the trade deadline this season?
Yeah, well, knowing AJ, I say they have a hole on offense. He'll go out and get a bullpen arm, right? As soon as you think he's going to ziggy zags. I mean, I think the Marlins guys are available right now. I think Sandy Alcantara could be had. I mean, I'm educated guess here. Right. Maybe they're waiting until June 30th. But basically, the Marlins are open for business. Not sure anybody wants anybody on the Rockies. Team like the White Sox they're going to wait a little bit, though. If somebody wants Luis Robert, you can have them. Because the White Sox are kind of trying to build something and things are going well for them. Where the Rockies are just kind of out of it and not sure what exactly they're doing. I think they just want to wait till Alcantara pitches well enough that they can get something for him. I think there's other pitchers probably on the Marlins that are available. I would expect the Nationals to eventually get in that mode, even though I think they're going to be stubborn and wait a while. the key team is the Atlanta Braves. I mean, Alex Anthopoulos has a little aging in him. You never know exactly what he's going to do. Chris Sale has a team option for next year, so I would guess they'd hold on to him. But you would think that they would probably move Ozuna. Maybe there's another surprise there in Atlanta to be moved. Their bullpen, once you're out of the race, you don't need your bullpen arms as much. And again, maybe Chris Sale as well. But we are a ways away. But Alcantara certainly would be at the top of the list. Luis Robert for the White Sox. But these guys haven't turned their seasons around just yet. So I think waiting is probably better for those teams because some of those guys can't play any worse. My prediction is somebody jumps the market, whether it be late June, early July. I'm not sure. But once we hit the All-Star break, it's going to be, all right, who are the real players in this thing? A while ago, about 3 weeks ago, I was told it was going to be a seller's market. I think it might slowly but surely even out a little bit, and it just won't be 4 teams selling. I think it'll be more like a half a dozen or more, starting with maybe those Braves, which normally we wouldn't include them.
Final one for me, Jesse Rogers, ESPN with us, is Jarren Duran with the Red Sox. Do you think he moves? Obviously, they called up their top prospect. Do you think Duran has put together a nice year, but not a year like he had last year? Do you think he ultimately moves?
I'm going to say yes. I mean, I thought Boston would be better than they are. So I think as they transition to this new group there, I'm going to say yes to that answer. I did not think I'd be saying it that way. I thought Boston's record would be reversed right now. It'd be like, they're 32-36. I thought they'd be 36-32 or something. That puts them right in the race. Boston's had a weird year. You saw Alex Cora show some frustration the other day. So I'm going to say yes to that answer. And that's one of those teams I didn't think would sell that may end up selling, but it's still a little bit early for a team like Boston to be thinking that way.
It could be a very highly sought after player, again, controllable and is young and has had good seasons.
He's just had a 9 war season too.
It's just coming. I mean, an amazing year last year. It hasn't been that exact same year, but he's been solid here in 2025. Jesse, always appreciate you taking time for us here in San Diego, and we'll catch up again soon. And thanks for doing it.
Sure thing. Anytime.
All right, great stuff. All right, we should have him on every day. We kind of have Jim over the last 2 days, Jesse Rogers, but
we can just replay that interview every day until the trade deadline.
We can go longer than that, Jim. We go into the offseason with that. Yeah. Hey, what do you think of the season?
How about once every segment? Our show is just that interview now.
It's just going to be that. All right. Once Padres Dodgers goes final, we are going to react and hear from Schulte. It's 4-2 Dodgers in the 9th. Padres, of course, will have last licks. They're in the top of the 9th inning. 4-2 Dodgers. The winner today wins the series. We'll hear from Schulte. We'll hear from you. Our phone lines are open, 877-767-4760. And then Kevin Acee, friend of the show, Padres Insider, will join us coming up at 5:30. Plus, we have Dirks Bentley tickets to give away today as well. Don't go anywhere. A lot to get into. Padres and Dodgers. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, our iHeartRadio Music Festival is back. Live performances by Mariah Carey, Maroon 5, The Offspring, and more. September 19th and 20th. T-Mobile in Vegas, 2 nights, 1 stage. The Capital One presale means card holders have access to tickets before the general public starting today. Also, the Capital One Access Pass add-on gets you into an exclusive pre-concert cardholder event with a private performance from LL Cool J Friday night, or Jelly Roll Saturday night. How about that? Go to iHeartRadio.com/Capital One and get your tickets now before they're gone. General public on sale starts Friday at 11 a.m. If you're choosing one, either LL Cool J or Jelly Roll for a private performance, who are you choosing and why?
LL Cool J.
Yeah.
Don't all call
easy.
it once.
Not even close.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know what LL Cool J stands for, Jim?
It's his name, right? Like his name is.
But yes, but LL stands for it's Ladies Love Cool J.
Oh,
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, I'd go LL Cool J. I'm down with that. All right. So Padres, can they come from behind to win here today against the Dodgers is the question.
They might have already blown their best opportunity.
There's been a lot of talk on social media about Machado swinging 3-0. Okay, a lot of talk. Earlier, by the way, in this game with the bases loaded after back-to-back walks, Fernando Tatis Jr. swung at a first pitch and flied out.
Yeah, swinging 3-0 if you're the best hitter on the team is fine, but the pitch has to be a strike.
Which it was.
Well, it wasn't like a down the middle strike. I mean, it wasn't like. Let me see the pitch. Where's the pitch? Okay.
You know, I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like, but you're also making a split-second decision as a hitter. So you might think it's where you want it, and then it can move an inch.
Again, I'm not going to kill Manny for it, but it is a bummer because Kopech has no command.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be 3-1, and maybe you get a better pitch on 3-1 than 3-0.
Wait, was that Kopech or was Kopech out of the game for Manny?
No, that was that. No, wait. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Kopech
that was
was some lefty, right?
Banda, the
Banda.
lefty. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was Banda that came on there, but it is 3-0. I mean, that's a fair point. I mean, I have no problem with him taking either, to be clear. I mean, I completely understand the justification of taking. It's just, yeah, if there's a guy that's going to be able to make that decision, whether it's right or wrong, I think Manny can. He's that guy. But yeah, I mean, clearly you want to do more in that spot. I mean, they had bases loaded, 1 out. So whether it's a little bit of Manny and the pitch selection 3-0 or Luis Ariz popping out with 1 out, or earlier in the game with the bases loaded, after a Maldonado walk forces in a run, Fernando Tatis Jr. flies out. I mean, these are the same conversations we're having a lot of, right? About this team in general. Not every day. They scored 18 runs the last 2 games coming in. But we have questioned this offense a good amount throughout the first half of this year. And that continues here today, where they've had opportunities to score more than 2 runs, but they've only scored 2 runs in this game.
And if you want to talk about the bullpen, I mean, let's talk about it. Randy Vasquez goes 4 2/3 today, through 70 pitches. Do you really want to test, test your luck with Randy Vasquez out there against the Dodgers?
Like keep him in the game longer?
Probably not.
That's how they used him all year, right? How many long outings does he have? He's often been a 5-inning pitcher this year.
Adrian Morejon comes in, makes an error. Was that an error?
I don't know if they called it an error or not.
It wasn't an error, but it was a misplay on the mound.
Yeah, should have made the play.
Yep, should have made the play there.
That was in front of the 3-run home run later in the inning.
But I can tell you this. Just looking at this box score, Schulte completely went for it today.
Oh my gosh, chasing it down with his relievers, you're saying?
Oh, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, now 6 relievers in this game. You're not going to see Suarez here unless they do something
unless
in the
they
ninth
tie
inning.
the score, yeah.
But Morejon, Estrada, Matsui, Adam, those all guys appeared today, and it came back to bite them. Now, the offense didn't do their job after scoring 11 runs last night. As we ripped Dave Roberts all last night and today for putting in Kike Hernandez in the 6th inning. Well, guess who's going to get the last laugh here potentially? It's going to be Dave Roberts.
That was my concern.
Yep.
That was always a possibility.
Even though, if you're just looking at a singular game in last night, a singular game, that was embarrassing.
But in the general wider view, it may have paid off as hard as it is for me even to say that, because I was very critical. So were you last night. And to your point on chasing this down, I'm 100% in favor of it, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially with tomorrow being an off day.
Yep.
But with that being said, these are the games when you turn to all of your high leverage relievers, you have to win. The whole purpose of using them is you believe you've got like an 80% chance of winning with your bullpen. So you chase it down and you think it's going to be good enough to find a way to win the game. And it may still be. I mean, they're going to need a miracle comeback in the ninth inning. They're not trailing 5-2 in this game. It could be worse before this inning is over. We'll see. But I understand the justification for chasing it down, and I credit Mike Schilt for doing that. I mean, we were very critical. I was, you were too, over the years when like it was slow played. Like why are teams not chasing this down when there's an opportunity to win a game, whether it was like a Jace Tingler or a Bob Melvin? That's one thing with Schilt. I'm never like, oh, he's not going for it. I feel like Schilt goes for it a lot, whether it works or not.
Well, you can tell, right? You can tell when he goes for it.
Oh, absolutely.
And today it was a go for it situation.
Yeah.
I was going to say something and I forgot.
Was it profound?
Probably not.
Like season over?
That I just posted on social media.
Yeah.
Season's over.
That's pretty profound.
No, not that. Not that. Man, I forget what I was going to say.
Was it? It couldn't have been that good.
It probably wasn't, honestly.
Is there anything we've ever said that has been like, man, I'm glad we said it?
Meh.
Right. Again, I knew what would happen because we're watching how this is playing out in real time on social media. I knew there'd be overreaction.
Yeah.
That's my honest takeaway today.
Here
And we'll
comes.
react heavily in the 4:00 hour once this game's over.
Every Dodgers troll will now enter the chat, and every you guys are losers. I've already seen it. Little brother, blah blah blah. Congratulations.
We won the World Series again today.
Right.
Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of reaction to this. We had said repeatedly this week, no matter what happens over these 3 games, there's a long way to go.
I know what I was going to say.
I like cats.
You did mention this to me last night. I don't know if you talked about it on the wrap-up show.
What's that?
You scored 11 runs last night, and I was arguing like that's great. 11 runs, get the offense going, get some guys that are maybe struggling to get going again. Score 7 runs on Monday night, like that's a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
But you also did mention like last night's 11 runs, pretty fake.
I mean, I don't know if I said it in that exact term,
Kind of
but
fake.
you did it against a guy that was just left out there, like to die.
So like, and then a
position player. That was all the damage.
Right.
Like it was not. Again, it's not that it doesn't count. It does, but is it considering the circumstances? It wasn't like you did it to Yamamoto.
Yamamoto, yeah.
Yeah, like if you did that to Yamamoto, that would have been a lot more impressive. Again, all you can do is face the competition you're going to face.
Exactly. You're not
So
going to
I'm fine
can
with
you
it.
throw out Paul Skeens for Darnay Trip, please?
I'm fine with them doing what they did yesterday. But today, to be honest, today's disappointing because they were facing another guy that they've got to do more work against, and whoever was Kasparius.
100%.
And they had plenty of opportunities in this game. Plenty of opportunities in this game, yet they've only scored 2 runs. Like, what are they with men in scoring position? Can you pull up the app?
Not great,
How many
John.
men have been left on base in this game?
Well, you might think that it's they've left more on base, but they've only left 7 on base.
Okay, not crazy.
2 for 5 with runners in scoring position.
Okay, not
most
terrible.
of those at bats came there in the 7th.
Good point. It seems worse than it's actually been.
Yep.
You know, sometimes it's just magnified against a team like the Dodgers. And you need to capitalize when you have chances. What did we say Monday? The Airs did them in. LA's too good. That's what we said Monday.
Yep.
And today, what I would say is when you have bases loaded, you need to capitalize. And they didn't with Tatis. And they didn't with Arise and Machado in that whatever inning that was, the 8th inning spot when it was 4-2.
And, losing 2 of 3 here, Monday's the game where you're like, ugh. Real good opportunity to win that game. And you didn't. It wasn't like they had a 5-run lead, but still, you have everybody ready to go in the bullpen. Most everybody ready to go in the bullpen, and it just didn't get the job done. So,
what do you think Schilt will say specific? I would guess he'd be asked about Machado swing 3-0. Of course, he's going to back him.
100%.
And I would guess he might be asked about Tatis swing first pitch with the bases loaded after back-to-back walks earlier in the game.
We can ask Kevin about that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we will. Kevin's not going to shy away.
Schilte's going to be like, we fought hard today. Good ball game. Respect our opponent. Not going to alibi anything.
You have it like down to a T.
Yeah.
Tip your cap.
Tip your cap.
Yeah, exactly.
they made the plays we didn't. Grits, not Grit Squad, but
Winners find solutions.
We have to find.
But we lost.
But we lost. Yeah.
But winners do find solutions.
Yeah, winners find solutions, but we didn't find a solution today, so we lost.
All right. Barring a terrific comeback, the Padres will lose this series. They're trailing 5-2 right now.
It all started with a Tyler Wade what, John?
Walk?
I don't know. Somehow.
To turn the tides.
That's what I mean. Like that's what we're going to say.
He reached on a pop-up in the infield that was dropped.
It all started with a Tyler Wade fill in the blank.
You never know. All right. We will react once this game goes final, which will be momentarily. We'll hear from Mike Schild and Kevin Acee. Plus, we have Dirks Bentley tickets to give away. Hour 3 of John and Jim comes your way next on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
Well, the season's over. This update's brought to you by Jamul Casino. Padres lost today to the Dodgers 5-2. End up losing the series. They have an off day tomorrow before they go on the road. First up, they'll face the D-backs on Friday. And tonight is Game 3 of the NBA Finals. 5:30 tip time in Indy between the Pacers and the Thunder. Players, kickstart your summer of fun with Jamul Casino's Resort Players Party. Saturday, June 14th, score $20 in free play, then enjoy live music, DJs, and best of all, free food. See jamulcasino.com for details and get ready to party, play, and win.
Getting you all set for that drive home. Let's just start the show. Here's John and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 3 of John and Jim. As Jim just told you, it has gone final. The Dodgers do get the last laugh in this first series of the year between these two rivals. They win today 5-2. We will hear from Mike Shildt momentarily, so do not go anywhere. Mike Shildt's reaction to a Padres loss here on a Wednesday afternoon at Petco and a series loss to the Dodgers. Plus, Kevin Acee will join us next hour. Coming up at 5:30, Padres chased this down with their high-leverage relievers, yet came up empty. The difference, Teoscar Hernandez hit a 3-run home run off Jeremiah Estrada, the first home run he has allowed this year. Padres had opportunities, maybe not a million of them, but bases loaded early for Tatis, flat out first pitch. Later, bases loaded, 1 out, a 2-run game for Arise and Machado. Arise popped out. Machado grounded out on a 3-0 pitch, and the Dodgers, after yesterday, which was a laugh for the other way, Padres won going away, but it is the Dodgers that get that last laugh. At least this week, they win today, Jim 5-2, and we'll hear from Mike Shildt coming up.
Yeah, this one stings if you're a Padres fan for sure, no doubt about it. But if I'm looking bigger picture here, it's not the end of the world. You lost a series to the Dodgers. How many series they've lost to the Dodgers in the last 5 years? A lot.
No, this is the first.
Oh, really? It's the first one? If y'all remember, they lost the season series by a wide margin in 2022, and they will beat them in the postseason. It will all come down to if they face each other in the bullpen. If they face each other in the playoffs again this year, that's all that matters. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, look at last year. The Padres actually won the season series. Does anyone remember that? Dodgers won the World Series.
Yeah, nope.
So, and you're right, 2022 was the opposite, where the Padres were soundly beaten throughout the regular season by the Dodgers. Nobody gave them a shot, and then they did what they did in the 2022 postseason, and it is June. We said this going into the series. I don't want to hear, oh, you guys are just saying that now that they lost the series. We said going into the series that if the Padres win the series, it's not making amends for October of 2024, and it's not defining 2025. This series doesn't define 2025 for either team. This hasn't made the Dodgers year. I promise you that. And this hasn't sank the Padres season either. What I would say here about the Padres is the same thing I'd say about the Dodgers. Plenty of work to do from the Padres perspective. You know, there's just work to be done. This roster needs improvement. This offense, yes, it was good for a couple of days, but we saw a lot of the things today that we've been talking about for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks here recently. And it doesn't get easier. Arizona this weekend on the road, that's been the house of horrors, so to speak. Dodger Stadium next week. Never easy. They're dealing with the pitching injuries, as are the Dodgers. I mean, it's just a moment in time where the Padres just lost a series to the Dodgers. And how do they respond? There's plenty of work to be done. Trade deadline's coming up, and it is disappointing. I thought heading into today, Jim, I thought the Padres would find a way. I really did. Off last night, the way Randy Vasquez pitched here today, he certainly gave them a chance to win this game. I thought the Padres were heading for a series win today. I was mistaken. And now we'll see what happens on the other side for both of these teams. Another
Game that they have a lead in. Think about that. How many games in a row consecutively have they held leads?
11.
11 straight games that they've had a lead in.
And they're only 6-5 in those games. They have led in 11 consecutive games. That's un-Padres like with this bullpen. You would think with the lead you're going to win 80% of the time. And they have not done that against these better opponents here over the last week and a half. San Francisco, Milwaukee, and now LA. And they've lost some of these games that they've led in. That's a really good point. Twice this series. Mm-hmm. And 11 consecutive games that they've led in. That's a really good point.
And you're never going to be perfect.
No, of course not.
Never. You're just, you could look at the last 11 games and be like, oh, they led the game 1-0 in the first inning.
Right. They're not going to win every time with a 1-0.
Hey, Robert Suarez, can you give us 8 here?
100%.
So you have to probably look at when they led these games, but still the point remains, like, they've had a lead in all these games and they're only 6-5 in the last 11.
Right.
And in this series, they had an opportunity. I think Monday hurts more than today. Now you could argue today hurts more than Monday because of what happened and transpired last night. Because now every lame loser Dodger fan is going to be puffing their chest out and being like, see, last night, Dave Roberts, he's playing 4D chess. And you're like,
we knew that would happen.
Okay.
We said that last night.
Oh, we 100% said that last night. And I'm already seeing it in the chat. And I'm already going to see it from Padres
Last
fans.
night didn't matter, but today does.
Right. Last night's game didn't matter.
But
today,
this was the game we were
today
playing
they
for.
tried, John. They tried today.
We were trying to win this one because last night's game didn't matter.
right.
At the end of the day, honestly, the truth is the Dodgers won 2 out of 3. And the truth is whatever antics were pulled last night by Dave Roberts, I mean, it's not as simple as it just worked. It's not like they won the season because they won today. They didn't win the World Series today, but I do think it justifies some of his decisions yesterday, if I'm being honest. I don't know if everyone's going to love to hear that, but it's different. If the Padres won today, it makes Dave Roberts look foolish.
Mm-hmm.
I think by the Dodgers winning today, it does, again, in the back of some people's minds, say, well, it's justifiable. They didn't use any of their high leverage relievers or any of their relievers yesterday, essentially. They just left the guy out there. They went to Kike Hernandez. They gave him a better chance to win on Wednesday. So some of that I understand. I just thought the way they went about it yesterday was kind of ridiculous, going to a position player in the 6th inning. But the truth is, at the end of the day, the Dodgers won the series and the Padres didn't. That's all that anyone's going to care about.
Mm-hmm.
That at the end of the day, that's what happened. And we've said that a lot before. And it's on the Padres. Let's be honest. Whether the Padres won the series or not, it's on the Padres to chase down the Dodgers. Is it not? It's on the Padres to position themselves from a health perspective, from a trade deadline perspective, from a team perspective, to beat the Dodgers when it matters. It's not on the Dodgers to beat the Padres. They've already done it. They did it last year, and they've won repeatedly in regular seasons and in postseasons. It's now on the Padres and A.J. Preller and Mike Shilton's team to put themselves in a position when they get another opportunity against L.A. when it matters to be better than the Dodgers. And that's what they got to do. And right now, they're not better than the Dodgers. I don't know how far off they are, truthfully. I don't know how close the Dodgers are to full strength. I don't think very close. I don't think this is near the finished Dodger team, not near it. And I don't think it's the finished Padres team either. But it's the truth is, whether they won this series or not, the Padres have to go catch the Dodgers. And the Dodgers are out in front, right? Until proven otherwise.
They're chasing.
Yep.
That's it. They're the defending
works.
World Series champions. Everybody's chasing the Dodgers. It's not just the Padres.
Right.
Giants are chasing the Dodgers, the Mets, the Cubs, the Phillies, D-backs, like everybody, the Yankees, give me other teams in the American League. Every good team in the American League, every good team in the National League. Guess what? Everyone's chasing the Dodgers.
Right.
Everyone's chasing a Dodger team with a $700 million plus payroll. It's not really that, but I'm over exaggerating here, but you get my point.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what everybody's chasing right now because they're the defending World Series champions, and it just makes it harder because they're in your division. And so the pathway here is not only trying to get over the hump of just making the postseason for back-to-back years, but also getting over the hump of the Dodgers always in your division and potentially going to another postseason run where you're a wild card team and you don't have a first round bye and you don't have those opportunities like the Cubs do and the Brewers do and the Phillies and the Mets where those teams interchange winning divisions nonstop. Dodgers, they win their division every single year.
Every single year. And by the way, a lot like Monday when I said, did the Padres really deserve to win Monday with the miscues? Did the Padres really deserve to win today with four singles? You're facing Casper, the friendly, whatever his name is, Sparius, Trevino, Dreyer. Like they left the door open early for you to take advantage of, and you didn't. When you have 4 hits in a game and they're all singles, and Tatis continues to be mired in this slump, and Luis Ariz continues not to look fully like Luis Ariz. I mean, are you really beating the Dodgers often with 4 hits, all singles? No, you're going to lose that game 9 out of 10 times, even if Randy Vasquez is good. This isn't about Randy Vasquez only going 4 2/3 innings and Mike Shildt going to his bullpen. You're not going to beat the Dodgers with 4 singles. Like that. That's not the strategy. That's not the formula to win this game. And it's hard to go all in and criticize the Padres offense right now, considering what we saw on Monday and on Tuesday when they came to life, obviously, their offense. But it has been a theme more often than not that this offense doesn't really look like 2024. The 2025 one has many more flaws, in my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinions, than that 2024 offense that we saw. Right? I mean, it's just not the same offense. Doesn't mean they can't get there, but it just is not the same offense by and large. Not every night, but by and large.
Yeah. Now, again, like you said, every loser Dodger fan will be in the responses today. And just like this, Dave Roberts effectively punted last night's game to have his bullpen fully stocked for today. It worked to perfection as the Dodgers won today and took 2 of 3 in the series. But yeah, he looked like a clown, all right.
But couldn't they have just won yesterday and still won 2 of 3 in the series? So what was the advantage to win today as opposed to yesterday? They're both worth 1, right?
Exactly.
Neither's the money ball in the 3-point contest where one's worth 2 and one's worth 1. They were both worth 1. He won 1 and he lost 1. I don't think it better positioned him. He could have just tried to win yesterday. They're both worth 1 win, you know? So, no, I mean, listen, people are drawing lines in the sand. You're not going to convince Padres fans otherwise of what happened yesterday with Robertson. You're not going to convince Dodger.
No.
We're not going to be able to convince Dodger fans that what Dave Roberts did last night was Bush League, even if it was.
Right. No, it was Bush League.
Agreed.
And
if the Padres did it at Dodger Stadium and Schilt was pitching Tyler Wade for 4 innings last night at Dodger Stadium, Dodger fans would call it Bush League.
But it's up to the Padres to make sure that what Dave Roberts did last night backfired.
That's right.
And guess what?
It didn't.
Last laugh goes to Dave Roberts. Last laugh goes to all these loser Dodger fans.
That was my fear last night.
Yeah.
Because we knew that what's the word I'm looking for? Like what the Dodgers did was outside the realm of what teams should be doing in the major leagues, right? They were bending the rules a little bit to their advantage. We said, because they're doing that, make sure to take advantage tomorrow and not let them get away with it, so to speak. But the Padres didn't. So, and it goes back to again, I mean, at the end of the day, the Dodgers won the series. No matter how they won the series, they won the series. It doesn't really matter what happened yesterday because the Dodgers still won the series, is what I would say. So the last laugh does go to LA in this random June series against the Padres, and we'll see what happens next week when they meet again for 4 games.
Yeah, it is what it is. You move on. It's just it's a bummer. It sucks. You just got to wear it.
You just got. Well, remember, when we wore it for 6 months.
Yeah, I know. Everybody wore it after 24 consecutive scoreless innings, and oh, by the way, they went on to win the World Series. And now you got to wear it after this series as well. Now, the good thing is you do play them at Dodger Stadium next week to get some hopeful revenge. But it's
you got to show up.
It's a 4-game series in a Dodger Stadium. It's not going to be easy.
None of it's going to be easy. And by the way, for those that are, and again, you're not going to convince Dodger fans otherwise. You're not going to convince Padres fans otherwise. What happened yesterday at Petco Park and the way they went to Kike Hernandez in the 6th inning, be honest with each other. Like if you're looking at yourself in the mirror, you don't use position players in a 6th inning. Dave Roberts said postgame he referred to it as awkward. He called the situation awkward, turn it to Kike Hernandez in the 6th inning. I mean, come on. There are Dodger fans at Petco that drove 2 hours each way or more, or 3 hours each way. They spent $300 for tickets. They're watching Kike Hernandez in a 10-run game. Give me a break. That's what you want to see as a Dodger fan. But it was 4D chess because they won the series. They could have won the series by winning either of the 2 games, folks. They just happened to win today. What does that have to do with not winning yesterday? We'll hear from Mike Schilt on the other side. We'll react to your calls as well. 877-767-4760 if you want to weigh in. We'd love to hear from you. 877-767-4760. Dodgers do get the last laugh here in June at Petco. Call us if you want to react. 877-767-4760. We'll hear from Mike Schilt on the other side. Do not go anywhere. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Dodgers take game 3. They win the series down at Petco. They defeat the Padres 5-2. John and Jim back with you here. San Diego Sports 760. Kevin Acee, by the way, will join us at 5:30. Our Padres insider. More reaction. We want to hear from you as well. Phone lines are open. 877-767-4760. We'll get your calls coming up if you want to hang on the line or call in. 877-767-4760. But let's hear from Mike Schilt. This was immediately after the Dodgers winning today down at Petco 5-2.
Mike, what do you think of Randy today, and what were some of the factors that went into the decision to lift him when you did?
I thought Randy was good. I thought he was really good. I thought he did his job. I thought he got us to a point in the game where we were happy with. We had a rested bullpen. We had guys that we really liked, and that was pretty clean. Conforto got him, but I thought he was great.
What did you make of this series? A couple tight games Monday and today, and kind of the way.
Yeah, pretty much what we expected, right? I mean, I don't think there's a ton of surprises. Today came down to, who capitalized on the opportunities that were there. Morejon came in, did a great job to finish out Ohtani, and but we had a misplay and a walk that preceded Hernandez's swing, and they walked 6, and we couldn't overly capitalize more than we did the one Maldi at bat. So they gave us opportunities. We gave them a few opportunities. They just capitalized a little bit more.
That was sort of my next question, but the Teoscar home run, I imagine the 2 at-bats preceding that are kind of bigger than the home run itself.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, the homers are going to happen, and listen, let's don't minimize that. It's always easy out there, and guys are in their walks, and they're men, not machines. But the fact of the matter is that's what the game comes down to a lot of times, especially close games against good teams. So the comebacker on, and then the walk, and then you put yourself in harm's way, and when you get harmed, and there's guys out there, now it's a little more damage, harder to come back from.
You're about halfway through this stretch of 26 games in 27 days. How do you feel like the pitching staff overall has navigated a busy couple of weeks?
They've done great. They've more than held their own. We've done, to AJ's point a little bit, we've, done our best we can to put the guys in the right spots. And for the most part, we've been rewarded for that. And they've pitched really well. And, as far as the big picture, it was just the pitching, though. You were asking about more of the pitching. Yeah, I think guys have done their part, and we've had some guys step up. It's good to see Morgan get out there today and come back and get his guy. It's a good sign. Reynolds is throwing the ball well. Yuki's throwing the ball well. So we're running out with different guys contributing than the 4 guys that, we've used to bring games home with. So we've gotten more than, every bit of what we could expect from Bergert, and Colwick's done great. And like I said, Randy, he gets to right the 5th today against a tough team, and gets to the lineup twice, and, leaves with the, tie game. Done his part. Dylan, yesterday was really, really good, and Nick's been good overall for the most part. So pitching's held their own for sure.
What's the next step for Darvish?
For Darvish, looks like he's going to go to Arizona, and then I don't know whether it's at the complex or, it'd be his decision, probably more likely the complex, but he'll get some form of simulated game.
Any clarity with King?
No, not really. He has gone and seen some specialists, and, we do have a better idea of what we're dealing with, but that is also, like certain things medically, there's no absolutes, right? You get different opinions, and, so Hack and our rehab guy, Scott Hacker, is phenomenal, and Rogo, our medical team, they're great. Again, undercharted. This is outside really of a baseball purview necessarily from historic injury, and so talking to a lot of doctors and experts, and they're putting a lot of time in, and guys have done a lot of rehab people, and it's just it's really a case by case scenario. So we've got our arms around what it is, and now just trying to figure out what it looks like, but taking the best steps we can for him to progress.
You touched on it a little bit, but it seemed like you had a plan that was going very well when you got a comebacker from Freeman there, from able to rest your bullpen, and then you were going to let Randy go through twice. How disappointing is it that it kind of just unraveled when it really seemed like everything was setting up for you to kind of navigate this game?
Yeah, I mean, that's the way it goes, right? I mean, it's you can have a plan. If it goes well, fantastic. It's supposed to have gone well. Some days people feel like, and need to get rewarded when it does. When it doesn't, you go to plan B. That's the fact of the matter. The reality is we had it lined up. The comebacker, okay, it happens. As I say, the walk, the homer, that's the big blow. But then Estrada held her right there. Yuki did his part. Let's give Yuki credit. Adam did his part. And they were able to piece it together and keep it at 2. So it's really as simple as that.
All right. Simple as that. Mike Schilt post game. Just what do you expect him to say?
It's just another game in June.
Which he didn't say. I thought he actually put it fairly, which was they capitalized on opportunities we didn't. They came through. The Padres came through in what manner today? A bases loaded walk.
They didn't come through at all.
Yeah, they just didn't come through when given some opportunities. And then the Dodgers take advantage of opportunities. Second time in the series. Monday, all the errors, Dodgers win. Mm-hmm. Today, the miscue on the mound on a comebacker that was off the glove of was it Morejon?
Today?
Yeah, before Estrada, right? It's off his glove. It's not the simplest play, but it's a play that should be made. It's a play that absolutely should be made. He didn't. He gloved it, but didn't fully glove it. It caroms away. 2 batters later, 3-run home run.
Yeah.
It's like kind of that fourth out scenario that we always talk about with good teams. Sometimes it's the Padres doing it to other teams because the Padres are the team that's better than their opponent. Other times it's the Dodgers. And I just thought the Padres probably gifted the Dodgers with too much in this series to ultimately get away with it. You kind of get what you get what you deserve. And they kind of deserved to only get one of these 3 games, truthfully.
For sure. And while the Dodgers pitching is in complete shambles, their offense is elite. So you can't make a mistake to their offense. And they aren't going to be like they were the first 2 nights pitching staff wise. Like they're going to have outings like today where they do pitch well, even though some guys that were on the mound for the Dodgers you never heard of before.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, it's funny because Michael Kopech was saved, right? He was saved for today. They punted last night because they wanted to make sure Michael Kopech was ready for today, and then he completely wet the bed today. So
he walked 3.
Yeah, he was an embarrassment today.
Ineffective. Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I'm glad that they saved Michael Kopech for today's game. Man, he really did a really good job for the Dodgers.
This had nothing to do with what Dave Roberts did yesterday.
No.
You know what I mean? The reason the Dodgers won today isn't because Dave Roberts saved their season by pitching Kike Hernandez.
No.
That's not why they won. You know why they won? Luis Ariz didn't hit a ball into the gap with the bases loaded down 4-2. You know why they won? Because Manny Machado swung a 3-0 pitch and grounded out. Because Fernando Tatis Jr. swung first pitch early in the game with the bases loaded and flat out. Like they just didn't capitalize. That's why the Dodgers won 100%. In this game. All right, we'll get to these calls on the other side. If you want to weigh in, call right now. 877-767-4760. We're reacting to a Padres series loss at home to the Dodgers. Kevin Acee will join us in 1 hour at 5:30, our Padres Insider. But if you want to weigh in, 877-767-4760. All of your calls are next on John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update's brought to you by WhatsApp. Padres, Dodgers today. Padres lose the final game of the 3-game series to the Dodgers, 5-2. They have an off day tomorrow before they start a 7-game road trip. First up, they will face the D-backs on Friday night in Arizona. And then game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight, 5:30 tip time between the Pacers and the Thunder. That series is tied up at 1 game apiece. Wondering what a personal message with your credit card number has in common with way too many pictures of your dog? Well, they're both private, because on WhatsApp, your personal messages are yours, no one else's. They can't see them at all, not even on WhatsApp. Message privately with everyone.
All right, Kevin AC in 1 hour. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. We've got a 4-pack of tickets to give away to see Dierks Bentley. We might just do that as a normal giveaway as opposed to Trainwreck Radio. We're reacting to Padres Dodgers. Padres fall 5-2 here this afternoon. Just 4 hits, all singles in the game. Had some bases loaded opportunities they didn't capitalize on. If you want to weigh in, we'd love to hear from you. Our phone lines are open right now. 877-767-4760. That's 877-767-4760. And let's start with Dave on line 1, who's back with us here on John and Jim. Dave, thanks for calling in.
Yeah, thanks again, guys. Well, I know everybody's disappointed. Certainly wanted a better outcome than the flat tire they ran into today. But one quick observation before we get to the game real quick. How is it that so damn many in that ballpark over the last 3 days?
What?
You cut out.
You cut out. What'd you say?
Oh, how is it that so many Dodger fans got into that stadium, considering this ballpark was sold out months ago? It means a lot of Padre fans were selling their tickets to Dodger.
All right, your phone's breaking up. Thanks, Dave.
I mean, that's just the nature of ticketing. I mean, people can sell their tickets. I mean, I'm not going to go criticize people for selling their ticket. It's a Wednesday afternoon. If people are going to go spend $300-$400 on a ticket and you can make $200-$300, I get it. I mean, whatever. It's a long year. There's 81 home games. There's Padres fans at Dodger Stadium. There's Dodgers fans at Petco Park. That's part of being in Southern California.
By the way, like you said, it's a Wednesday day game in June. If I can take my tickets, if I'm a Padres fan, and sell them for a premium to a Dodger fan,
right,
then guess what? You as a Padre fan, you win, because that Dodger fan just bought your tickets that were, I'm just going to say $100 for $300, and you just made $200 off
that.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. If you want that stuff to matter, you can allow it to eat at you, so to speak. But like, Teoscar Hernandez isn't homering because there's a larger percentage of Dodger fans in the crowd.
I would be way more like on Dave's side if it was a postseason game, but it's not.
And the postseason, they did some things differently in 2022 and 2024 to like gatekeep ticket buyers, right? And that was whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, who cares, right? Like at the end of we talk about this a lot in sports with, the other fan base is in the state. Petco Park has been sold out by and large for years now. Padres fans have been absolutely terrific. Guess what? I think a lot of Dodger fans would prefer to go to a game at Petco than Dodger Stadium. I think that's a factual statement.
100%. Dodger Stadium is awful.
I just think there's a lot of people that would prefer to come down here to watch the Dodgers than go to Dodger Stadium to watch LA. I really believe that way. And that's what you've seen. And that's fine. That is what it is. And I don't see it as overly relevant. Like, I don't care if it's all Dodger fans in the stands and the Padres win the series. I just prefer the Padres win the series.
It'd be a little annoying, but
I've been there on nights, and you have too, specifically like 17, 18, 19 or 16, 17, 18, where it was all Dodger fans.
Like the entire third base side behind the dugout.
Yeah.
All blue.
There was I remember vividly Clayton Kershaw start in 2017 that if it wasn't 90% Dodger fans and I was in the building, I would have been surprised. It felt as if 90% of the people in the building in 2017 were rooting for the Dodgers. So whatever. My takeaway today isn't that. That's not my takeaway from the series. My takeaway from the series is I'm disappointed the Padres didn't play better than they played. I thought they were capable of winning the series. Honestly, think back to Monday.
Yep.
It's almost more on San Diego than LA. It's not what LA did. It's what San Diego didn't do. The defensive miscues, the play by Brandon Lockridge in left. Today, the misplay by Morejon, not capitalizing with the bases loaded a couple of times. It's more on the Padres than it is what the Dodgers did. So that's my primary takeaway from this series. That's the disappointment. I'd almost prefer if the Dodgers just handedly won 2 games. Like they were just better, outclassed the Padres. That I don't think that's what happened over the last 3 days.
No, I think the Padres just didn't play good baseball for a lot of the series. To your point, Monday night, they had an opportunity to win, but man, did they play sloppy.
Mm-hmm.
Fielding errors, Brandon Lockridge, Xander Bogaerts. And while they had a good chance to win that game, in the end, did they really deserve to win that game? Probably not.
Right.
And the same thing with today. Just there's nothing like defensively they did that was awful. I know that Morejon misplayed that ball on the mound, but it like didn't lead to anything crazy. If I'm not mistaken, now we're on the air. It's hard to notice.
3-run home run.
Oh, it did. But was it? Well,
how many outs?
How many outs were there?
I'll tell you. That was in front of Hernandez.
Again, it's hard to.
Yeah, I mean, we were on the air. We were
area.
Literally on the air as it happened. So I'll tell you. So that was in the 6th inning, and in the wrap in the 6th inning, or in the summary, stand by. In the 6th,
standing by,
top of the 6th inning, it was strikeout, single, walk, homer. There was 1 out. So you're right. That alone wasn't the difference between 3 runs and no runs. It was probably the difference between 3 runs and 2 runs.
Probably.
You know.
But how about this? How about not give up a 3-run homer?
Right.
You know what I mean?
And again, this is something we talked about. Like, at the end of the day, let's be honest with each other. I mean, the Dodgers lineup is formidable. The Dodgers lineup is very good. And we said heading into the series, at some point, you're going to have to keep pace. And for a couple of days, they kind of kept pace by scoring, but they didn't today.
I have a suggestion.
Yeah. I'm listening.
How about the Padres, when there are 2 men on base, have a player hit a ball that goes over this wall out in center field where they end up having 3 runs on 1 swing of the bat?
Now, how does that happen? Well, let me ask you something, and I'm dead serious. In the 11-1 win yesterday, did they homer? Did they hit a home run yesterday?
I don't think so. Did they?
And did they hit a home run in the 8-7 loss? You know, they all get combined.
No, they did homer yesterday. Martin Maldonado.
That's right. So Maldonado homer. And what about game 1 of the series on Monday?
I don't believe they did homer on Monday, unless I'm mistaken.
Which we've been before. They did not homer Monday.
Okay. They homered yesterday.
And then they hit the home run for Martin Maldonado, which you're not relying on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then they didn't homer. So that's the larger conversation as well, where LA can really bail itself out. Obviously, Shohei Ohtani's going to hit 50 home runs.
They have 3-run homer power up
everywhere.
And down that lineup.
And the Padres, in theory, have 3-run homer power, except we're 70 games in and it hasn't proven to be true.
But like, when's the last time they hit a 3-run home run? Like,
well, they haven't hit a 4-run home run this year.
Well, they've rarely hit 3-run home runs this year.
They've hit a couple of them.
But that's something that it's lacking right now with this team. The power, you know, it just solves so many issues. If you're down 2 runs, you can just hit a 3-run homer at any moment.
Here's another great point, and I hope, Darren, you're cool with me. Darren is texting me right now just about, because the call about the fans back and forth. It's like, better question. I completely agree with him. It's like, why is this a day game? Padres are off tomorrow. LA's going home next week. And the reason the points are really valid is next week when the Padres are at Dodger Stadium, it's 4 night games. So like, if this is a little bit of like a scratch it back, oftentimes in baseball, the getaway day is a day game, right? But not always, especially when teams have off days or local games. So next week, for example, the Dodgers don't want to play day games. They prefer to play at night. It's Los Angeles. People would prefer to get there at night than during the day. They have jobs. We have jobs down here. Yet they're playing this game at 1 o'clock on a Wednesday, when the Padres, you would think, would much prefer to play at night. Beer sales, just in general, getting your own fans in the building. You're playing. I thought that same thing, just like the Wednesday day game, when next week is 4 night games at Dodger Stadium. And is it to acquiesce to the Dodgers, who are traveling and playing tomorrow? I mean, you're traveling to Los Angeles.
Yeah, it makes total sense. And we complained about it at the start of the year. How could you have other than the World Series last year against Dodgers Yankees, Padres Dodgers, and how that series ended up, and on paper, the two best teams in the postseason last year, right?
It's on TV, man.
And you don't play until June. And oh, by the way, the first time you meet is on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday afternoon.
On Padres.tv with the ump cam.
Huh?
Like, don't be scared to put this thing on national television.
Yeah, I remember complaining about that and being like, this doesn't make sense. This is ridiculous. Why don't the Padres Dodgers play like right away? Keep the momentum going, guys. You just came off of a year where the Dodgers, finally win a legit World Series.
Oh, wait, it's even more ridiculous because I thought LA was playing tomorrow at home. They're not.
Oh, they're
playing at home on Friday. So, okay, now the guys get a few extra hours, but who cares? The Padres are going to Arizona after this game, and LA's going home. So that is perplexing that you're playing a day game against the Dodgers for no reason other than you're just playing a day game against the Dodgers. Let's go back to the phones real quick. John has been patient. John, thanks for calling in. You're on with John and Jim. What's on your mind?
Hey, guys. I appreciate your phone call, man. Love you guys. I watch you guys.
Thanks,
John. Yeah, just a kind of a general comment. I'm 37 years old. I grew up watching, the Padres, the San Diego Chargers. And, what concerns me about this organization, just kind of San Diego sports in general, just the systemic kind of losing when you need to win. I mean, I know it's June, but I think that this was a must win, just to showcase what we're capable of. And it seems like whether it was the Chargers, whether it was the Padres, it's just when it comes down to it, they can't just, take it to the next level. And, as I grow older, I just find myself getting more frustrated with, the San Diego sports organizations in general. And it's just, I hope, I'm just waiting, hoping for that breakthrough moment, I've yet to discover with San Diego sports, whether it was Nate Katie missing that field goal or Phillip Rivers fumbling on the 1 yard line against Kansas City, or, San Diego State, missed, second place against, was it UConn, or just, the Padres going scoreless in 24 innings. I'm just waiting, man. I'm patiently waiting. And, I appreciate you guys. You guys still give me hope. And just a general comment, man. I just, hopefully one day the San Diego can break through, through these struggles they seem to have, when it matters, when all eyes are on them, the lights are shined on them, and it just, they can't do it for whatever reason.
We appreciate you, John. Thank you for the support and for calling in. I mean, I understand the sentiment. If you're a lifelong Padres fan or Chargers fan, and you're watching the Padres go up against the Dodgers year in and year out, there's a little bit of the Lucy pulling the football away element against Charlie Brown. There's some of that. Like, what is it going to take to break through here? How much money are they going to have to spend? What moment are we all waiting for? And we don't know. That's the thing with sports. We don't know what we're waiting for. It just has to happen.
And while today sucked, coupled with what happened last night and then today, as we have been saying, it's a game in June.
Now it'd be way worse in October.
Now, again, I'm Mr. like every game counts guy, right? I'm Mr. Hey, start of your season. It's very important to get off to a hot start, right? But I went over the schedule with you for September for the Padres.
Yep.
They are, as of right now, 2 games back of the Dodgers in the National League West. If that's right.
Is that right?
Or are they more than that?
No, I think it might be 2.
Yeah. So the 2 games back in the National League West. That doesn't scream to me end of the world, season over, fire everybody, trade everybody. Why even be a Padres fan because this team is awful?
I agree with that, but his point does resonate with me, which is just like,
I get it.
It's just another moment in a series of moments. Death by 1,000 paper cuts, so to speak. If you're a lifelong fan of an NFL team and a Major League Baseball team and you haven't gotten the result you've been looking for at the end of any season, I get that. It has a long time.
I know you don't watch TV. Well,
I watch TV.
I know you don't watch movies.
I don't watch movies.
But the saying you always have of, it's like Lucy pulling the football from Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
It's like that feel. It's like, oh, we're going to finally do it. And then the football gets pulled out underneath.
Yeah, 100%.
And even if the Padres did win today, and I know all Padres fans would be happy, including this show, it still wouldn't have meant like changing of the guard. Oh my gosh, the Padres are going to go over the hump and win their first World Series in franchise history.
No, you're right. And we tried to make that point before the series started. We'll continue to react on the other side. We'll give away Dirks Bentley tickets coming up at some point in the next 30 minutes as well. 4-pack of tickets for next week. Plus, Kevin Acee will join us at 5:30. Dodgers take the series. They win down at Petco 5-2. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey guys, it is John and Jim again for the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. Get there this weekend. In fact, Saturday night they've got the Players Party. It's an annual event to kick off summer. Listen to this: $20 free play for all, 6 a.m. to midnight. Free food for everyone, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. in Jive Lounge. You're not going to want to miss it. Join them Saturday to start summer off right.
And Sunday, it's Father's Day brunch at Prime Cut from 10:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. You can show Dad just how much he means to you with a decadent brunch at Prime Cut featuring lobster tails and hand-carved prime rib. Make his day extra special with a meal he'll love.
Also, this weekend, you can catch the Padres out at Jamul, NBA Finals, NHL Stanley Cup over at Tony Gwynn Sports Pub, where fandom meets fantastic. It's all available for you at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 here until 6 p.m. Kevin Acee will join us at 5:30. I do like the way Jim has been positioning it, because I completely agree that, like,
and my name is Jim,
Mr.
and I'm positioning in it.
You're Mr. Perspective right now, which is like, let's take a step back for a second. It's June 11th. You want to win all the games. And in baseball, it never works that way. 2 out of 3 is an amazing accomplishment for a year. The Padres have never done it. They've never averaged 2 wins in 3 tries in the history of the franchise. They've never won 100 games, right? So they've never been better than 98 and 64. That's nowhere near 667. So, like, by nature, there are days like this and a lot of days like this, even with good teams. We believe the 2025 Padres are a team that's going to be positioned to make the postseason. Is that still a fair assessment by most people listening to us, including ourselves?
Oh, they are fully positioned.
So they got to do it, and there's going to still be the highs and lows element of it. And they have pitching injuries, and they have an ineffective offense at times that we've been talking about. But they're 9 games over 500, and with what AJ Preller has done over the last few years, it seems like he can point this team towards the postseason. It's not a guarantee, but hopefully that's ultimately where they get. So, you know, we're a long way from there, folks. I mean, it's June 11th. The season ends September 28th. The postseason is going to begin a couple days later. So, and they didn't lose the division today either. I'm not saying they're going to win the division. I think it's probably an uphill battle, if I'm being honest, to win this division. I've watched this play out, like you mentioned. The Dodgers win this division. It's what they do. The one time they didn't, it took a Giants team winning 107 games or 108.
108, yeah.
In 2021. So the Dodgers win this division. So I'm not overly compelled to say today that watch what's going to happen the next 3 months. The Padres are going to win this division and prove people wrong. That's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is there's a decent shot the Padres are in the postseason. There's a decent shot these teams look different in 4 months. And let's see what happens then. And I do think the onus is on the Padres to position themselves to get over this hump.
Yeah, I never thought coming into this series, measuring stick series.
No, I didn't think it either.
Like
for either team.
For either team.
Yeah.
Going up against the best, like Padres are dealing with a bunch of injuries to their rotation. Dodgers are dealing with a bunch of injuries to their rotation. These teams are going to look completely different by maybe this time next month. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But these are not the finished products of these teams at all. At all. If anything, the only thing that I felt out of this series was it's a rivalry, and it tensions are heightened, and fan bases tensions are heightened, as we see on social media, and a lot of people kind of get on edge when you face the Dodgers because of how much you despise that franchise and fan base. So that to me was the only thing that was like bigger than it was in this series. Was its tensions are ratcheted up, ballpark atmosphere is playoff like, but the results of the game weren't going to sway me into, season over or, oh my gosh, we better get ready for the World Series run.
Right. And also at the end of the day, we all know that as we always talk about it from a Padres angle. Of course, we're in San Diego. We talk about upgrading left field or upgrading the bench or the bullpen or the rotation. Also on the other side of that coin, no matter what happened today, is the possibility of Shohei Ohtani pitching or Tyler Glasnow returning or Blake Snell returning or Roki Sasaki returning, right? Like the same thing the Padres are dealing with, the Dodgers are dealing with. And listen, the Padres can go out there tomorrow, Jim, and go get Luis Robert. I don't know if it makes them better than the Dodgers, So, yeah. And that's probably a separate conversation. It's not as simplistic as that. Like, go get better than the Dodgers tomorrow or else. We don't know how this is going to play out. But I do have that thought in the back of my mind that the hill is a significant one to climb when you're talking about if these two teams match up again in the, 4 months from now.
Yeah, postseason's all that matters. If they face each other again, the postseason, and this happens, then we got problems.
And we don't know with the postseason. It's so unpredictable.
Yeah. But go and win a series in Arizona.
Yep.
Like, go take advantage of an Arizona team that's dealing with some stuff right now. And, they just lost Corbin Burns for the year. So go, take care of Arizona this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Easier said than done, but still. And then 4 games against the Dodgers next week. We are right back into the tensions being high. We're right back into trolls. We're right back into loser Dodger fans. Like, we are right back in it because that's just what right now these two teams bring out of the fan bases is this vitriol towards each other. And we see it. Like, we live it. I mean, it's so funny how Dodger fans think that I care about anything that they say, that it affects me at all. But you know what? That's what's going to happen in these series.
Yep.
Is Dodger fans and Padres fans included are going to be at each other's throat. Every win for each team, either way, it's just pile on, especially with all these Dodger fans. And Padres fans are no different when I'm not saying no different, but
right.
They're
going to push back.
They're going to push back too.
The other way.
Yep,
yeah,
absolutely. And as they should.
Dodger fans think you were up till 2 a.m. Monday night because the Padres lost when in fact you were trying to buy Pokemon cards.
Dude, 100%. Okay. I could have cared less about what any Dodger fan said to me on Monday night
than Dodger fans.
Yeah.
And here's if there's a real bright spot here, and this is real. This isn't just me saying it. If there's anything to take away from these 3 games, it's Dylan Cease. If there's something that you can actually take away here, if someone tells me Dylan Cease is going to return to that form moving forward, I'll sign up because Dylan Cease plays a large role, a huge role potentially in the Padres getting to the postseason and advancing the postseason. What we saw from Dylan Cease yesterday was super encouraging. That to me is a primary takeaway. Of course you want to win the series, but the way Dylan Cease pitched yesterday, if there's any one really big positive takeaway for me over the last 3 days, it is Dylan Cease, who they will absolutely need in the second half of the year.
I just want to address the YouTube chat real quick.
But you don't care.
No, I really don't. I'm just telling you, like I want you guys, all Dodger fans, to continue to think that I care. And I know you're like, oh, Jim, if you didn't care, you wouldn't talk about it so much, blah, blah, blah. Well, I have a radio show and I have to talk for a living, so I'm going to talk about it. All right. But like, I don't think they understand. And you know, John, trust me, like, I literally don't care. It's so funny.
Smashing Blumpkins sure sounds like you care.
You know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do during the break?
Yes.
Instead of being sad and upset that Dodger fans are trolling, I'm literally going to be looking for Pokemon cards on eBay because I don't care.
And you should pick one up. You should.
I know.
You should pick one up.
I know.
All right, we're going to hear from Kevin AC at 5:30. We want to hear from you. Our text line is open 70470. Start it with the word team. We'd love for you to call in 877-767-4760. Dodgers win the series. They take this getaway day at Petco 5-2. We'll continue to react over the next hour until 6 p.m. Plus, we have Dirks Bentley tickets to give away. We'll do that in the 5 o'clock hour. Stay with us, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
Oh boy. This update is brought to you by Summit Racing Equipment. Dodgers beat the Padres today in the final game of their quick 3-game series down at Petco Park. Padres have an off day tomorrow before they start a road trip through Arizona and LA starting on Friday night. In the NBA Finals, Game 3 tonight in Indiana. Pacers and Thunder. That series is tied at 1 game apiece. This Father's Day, grab great gearhead gifts at Summit Racing. You'll find parts, tools, accessories, apparel, and more, or give the perfect card a Summit Racing gift card. Fast shipping, massive inventory, and expert tech advice are a click away at summitracing.com.
Getting you all set for that drive home. Let's just start the show. Here's John and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is the final hour of John and Jim, where Kevin Acey will join us at 5:30, where we'll give away Dierks Bentley tickets at some point over the next 15 or 30 minutes as well. We're reacting to a Padres series loss to the Dodgers that has now turned into much more than that.
It always does, because you got fan bases that are very passionate and they don't like each other, and so I get it, and Dodger fans thinking that I'm going to go home and not be able to sleep tonight because of the trolling that they're doing, when in reality I'll be fine. So it just escalates, and that's always what happens. I mean, we've lived through some pretty difficult times here in San Diego. If you're a Padres fan,
this isn't October of 2020.
No, it's June 11th. So it is what it is.
I mean, honestly, I'm kind of all for the back and forth. I'm all
it
for
makes,
it.
It makes it the
better.
rivalry.
Yeah, I mean, if they just lost the series today to the Marlins, this is not happening in any regard. All we're talking about is how on earth could you lose the series to the Marlins? And I mean, it's not about the fan, but there's so few fan bases that go back and forth in baseball. This doesn't happen against the Angels. You think if the Padres lost 2 out of 3 to the Angels today?
We're getting all Angels fans in our chat being like, you care so much about us. Like,
honestly,
what?
I don't even think it really happens that much at the Giants. I mean, maybe we'll get some Giants people in here. That's fine. And but there's something about this series right now. And make no mistake, I mean, I think most people agree the Dodgers have the upper hand. I mean, we'd be lying if we sat here like, oh, the Padres are better positioned. Right. I mean, again, like, they won the World Series. They won this series. But the two teams are separated by 2 games. No matter what happened this week, the Padres could have swept the Dodgers soundly. 8-1, 8-2, 8-3 in 3 straight games. It doesn't mean the Dodgers didn't win last year's World Series. So, I mean, there's still work to be done both ways. But again, I'm kind of all for the back and forth, and it means something to a lot of people, whether it's Padres fans or Dodgers fans or people, baseball fans in Southern California.
Yeah, and I like it. Actually, I love it. I love when you have, tensions at all-time high, because it makes these games feel more important than they really are, right? Because, like you said, Padres this weekend against Arizona. If Arizona takes 2 or 3, do you think? I mean, yes,
it's all on field.
Yes,
we wouldn't be talking about fan bases.
Yes, the fans will be upset that they lost 2 or 3, but there's not going to be this like back and forth between Padres and D-backs fans on social media and online, where it's all fake anyway. Right. Where it's like like it's not going to happen.
Right.
But it will happen with Dodger fans and trolls, and it will happen with Padres fans and trolls. Like, that's just what it is, and that's what I think makes this a rivalry. I know that I'm not going to compare this to Yankees Red Sox at all. Not even close. I'm not going to know. But what I will say is, how do you think that rivalry became what it is today? Was it the players on the field, or was it that with a combination of their fan bases?
It was all the dynamics. I mean, honestly, I think it stems from like the Ruth trade and the curse.
Oh, yes, of course.
I mean, but yeah, it's all of it. It's not just on field. It's off field. It's the fan bases. It's the vitriol.
But without one of those things, it doesn't become the rivalry it is today. And the fans play a huge role. Huge role. Now the players have to perform, and they have to do their job and do their part to turn it into a rivalry. Can't just have it one-sided here. But the fans play a huge part of it. So going back to Padres Dodgers, yes, both teams have had success against each other in the postseason, with 2022 with the Padres, and then last year with the Dodgers. But the fans are such a big part of this now, which has elevated into the rivalry it is today.
Which, to bring it full circle on Maryland Betts on their podcast, is why I had a problem with it.
I know.
And not to make it bigger than it is. It's not a big deal. It's not going to be widely discussed. It's not going to lead SportsCenter, and it's not going to be in the UT. But we talked about it last year with Tatis and Betts. doing a podcast the day after the Padres clinched the playoff spot with a triple play. That was curious. This week, it's Jackson Merrill and Mookie Betts doing a podcast, which to me is just the only reason it's just not in line with the way the fan bases treat the importance of these games. It runs counterintuitive to that. So it is what it is. It's not going to impact either team either way. But again, there's so much vitriol here, man. I mean, it's all we've been dealing with for 3 straight days.
Right.
At Petco Park, online, social media, John and Jim wrap-up show. So, like, if it means that much to the fan bases, hopefully it means that much to the players as well. Although we know it doesn't. It doesn't truthfully mean the same to the players like it does to the fans.
Now, I do have a question about that podcast yesterday.
Yeah.
How can that podcast, now it was posted 8 hours ago, so it was posted today.
Yeah.
All right. And it will get a good amount of views, but how does that podcast on the Bleacher Report YouTube channel with 4.62 million subscribers right now only has 13,000 views?
It's not a big number, right? I mean, you got a MVP in Betts. You got Merrill, who is an all-star. You got Padres. Again, I just don't know if people are looking for that type of content, truthfully. I mean, it's not that it's no one. I mean, that's a lot of views for something like what we do, but you're talking about like a future Hall of Famer in Mookie Betts, right? There's not a lot of conversation with baseball players. LeBron and KD, you're getting views on YouTube. Patrick Mahomes with Terry Bradshaw, you're getting views, right?
Yeah.
Baseball, way more localized. You're not going to get a lot of New Yorkers tuning in for the Betts Merrill podcast. No, you're going to get New Yorkers tuning in for the Mahomes and Burrow podcast, for example.
Because baseball is a regional
Super
sport.
Super regional.
And people in New York don't care one bit about Jackson.
They're not dialed into it. I don't think they care much about Mookie Betts. Now, he played a role in that rivalry in Boston,
and
New York.
I hear Jackson Merrill is a household name.
Huge.
You go to the East Coast, honestly, you ask 20 people, hey, do you know who Jackson Merrill is?
I don't.
How many say, oh yeah, he plays for the Padres. He's their center fielder. He wears number 3.
No, it is interesting you bring that up. I don't think he has resonated nationally like some of the other Padres stars of the last half decade. Like Tatis, obviously, when he came up, was not a local story. It was like a national story. The flair, just the way he carried himself.
And maybe he does. Maybe he is closer to that than not. I'm just saying.
I don't think he is.
I don't think so either. I'm just saying maybe we're wrong. I don't know in the future, but I mean, maybe this helps. Maybe on a podcast with Mookie Betts on the Bleacher Report YouTube channel with 4 million subscribers helps.
Here's what helps for me, and I'm dead serious when I say this. Like, we should get back to talking about this, even though it's a little bit like, again, ad nauseum. Fernando Tatis Jr., man, way past time. Like, wake up.
Oh, we're going back to this now.
But Jackson Merrill, you've hit 5 home runs. It's like you want to resonate, and
how about a little less podcast and a little more batting cage?
And I don't want to say it as simple as that because Merrill's had a nice year. He has.
Yeah, he has.
But it is time, like you said earlier, the Dodgers have a lineup that is fully capable of running into a 3-run home run. The Padres do have that lineup too on paper, but they got to go do it on field with the Machado's, Tatis, Merrill, Sheets in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they got a lineup in there that should be hitting 2-3-run home runs more often than they have been. They just hit 1 home run, to your point, in a 3-game series against the Dodgers. Like, that's what I'm more concerned about. When does Tatis awaken? When does Merrill look like the Merrill we saw the first 10 days of the season? It's time to get going. We're in the middle of the year. I don't want to talk about it all year.
Well, if you're just looking at these lineups, Ohtani, 3-run homer power. Betts, yes. Freeman, yes. Will Smith, yes. Teoscar Hernandez, obviously,
Absolutely.
yes. Max Muncy, yes.
You're right.
And then you go to the Padres lineup. Tatis.
We say yes.
Arise, no. Manny, yes. Merrill,
yes. We would say.
Sheets.
I think we'd say yes this year based on what we've seen.
Bogarts, no. Cronenworth, no. Iglesias, no. Wade, no. Maldonado, no. Diaz, no.
No argument for me. Dodgers lineup is better.
No, there's no argument there. I'm just saying, I'm just like pointing out, Jesse Rogers told us the other day he thought that the Padres lineup was overrated.
He did.
And the more you look at it, take away the names, I think that's closer to the truth than not. This lineup has issues. Now, the top 4, I've said it from day one to start the season. I really like their top 4 in the lineup. Tatis, Arise, and before we thought Arise was going to be the leadoff hitter, but still, Tatis, Arise, Manny, Merrill. That's a really good starting point.
Mhm.
Like, you know how many teams would love to have that top 4?
I think most of them,
Like
3/4.
26 of them,
Okay.
maybe 25. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
a
a
lot
lot.
of them.
A lot of teams would love to have that top 4 of their lineup.
Mm-hmm.
But those teams are only going to want the top 4 of the lineup if those guys perform. If Luis Arise performs, which he's now hitting around 270. If Fernando Tatis gets out of this freaking slump that he's in and starts hitting. If, Jackson Merrill shows a little more pop. But as of right now, you got just a in his head slumping Tatis hitting leadoff. You got Luis Arise that is nowhere close to his career batting average. I mean, that's what he does.
50 points
like
below.
that's who he is. If he's not hitting for average, then you're really not going to get much else out of him.
Which was always the concern.
Yep.
We've talked about long-term deals with the Rise.
Yep. And Manny, he's doing his part.
Absolutely.
Merrill, I think you can say he's done his part. He's missed a bunch of time, but still, it's not like he is cratered.
No, he hasn't. But would we like to see more from Jackson Merrill if he's going to be the player that everyone hopes he's?
When's the
going
last
to
time
be?
he hit a home run?
He's hit once since coming back.
Okay, so
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Potentially. But listen to this. This is as simple as I can say it. LA, 105 home runs. Okay. Speaking to the lineup that Jim talked about. That's the second most in baseball. You know who leads baseball? Obviously, the Yankees with that short porch and Aaron Judge. The Padres, I mean, they're not in the same hemisphere, dude, or the same stratosphere. You know how many teams have fewer home runs than the San Diego Padres this year? 3. The Pirates, the White Sox, and the Royals. Those are the only teams with fewer home runs than the Padres. Let me say that again. The Pirates, the White Sox, and the Royals are the only teams in baseball with fewer home runs than San Diego. San Diego's hit 57 in 67 games. You better have the best pitching staff in baseball to go win a World Series hitting 57 home runs in 67 games. You better win everything 2-1 and 3-2 all year long.
Yep, that's a huge problem.
So again, it's not the only defining stat of a team. It's not like you have to lead baseball in home runs to win World Series, but can you really be 28th in the sport in home runs? Got to be better in that area.
Have to be.
And that starts with Tatis, truthfully.
Oh. Yep.
All right, Dirk's Bentley tickets. Let's give those away on the other side. Then Kevin AC will join us at 5:30. Much more reaction. Dodgers over the Padres at Petco. The difference, a home run. Teoscar Hernandez in a 5-2 Dodgers win. We'll give away Dirk's Bentley tickets on the other side. That's a 4-pack of tickets, by the way. North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, June 19th. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. We'll tell you when to call. That'll be on the other side. Plus, Kevin AC, our Padres insider, he will join us at 5:30. Don't go anywhere. We're reacting until 6 p.m. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. We've got these Dierks Bentley tickets we'll give away within the next few minutes. So be listening for that 4-pack of tickets to see Dierks Bentley June 19th, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. And Kevin Acey, Padres Insider. We got an update there on Yu Darvish and the update from Schilt. If you missed it within the last hour, he's going to Arizona for a sim game. Who do you think he's going to be simulating against? Like, who they put in that lineup? You think Teoscar Hernandez is simulated?
They should send down Luis Campusano so he can actually get some at bats in the minors.
In the sim game? No, that's not even in the minors.
Oh, sorry, in the minors.
It's a sim game. So Darvish is going to go do a sim game. Why don't you go play in a real game?
Well, John,
what?
This is like the definition of baby steps with Darvish. Everything he has done so far to get back has been at a snail's pace.
Going backwards since the rehab start.
Right. It's like 2 steps forward,
4 steps backwards,
3 steps backwards, one step backwards, 1 step forward, 1 step forward, 1 step forward. Like,
what do you think we're going to hear about that sim game? He dominated.
They had a 19 pitch.
Yeah, he threw 31 pitches, 24 strikes.
He threw 34 or 35 pitches,
23 or 25 strikes.
If you added it up, he would have pitched 4 shutout innings with
11 strikeouts,
4 strikeouts and 1 walk.
Yeah, something like that, right?
Yeah.
And he commanded his fastball well and felt good afterwards.
The only thing about these sim games and rehab starts that matter at all is
afterwards,
how he feels after.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care if you're like,
It's 2
man,
batters.
that sim game was awful. He gave up 4 runs in the 1 inning of sim game action. Okay, but is he like healthy? Does he feel good?
Right.
How's his arm? It's good? Okay, cool. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the plan would be after sim game. Is it sim game, rehab game, big league game? If that's the path, then maybe we're not terribly far away. I hold no breath when it comes to Yu Darvish. And I certainly hold no breath right now when it comes to Michael King. Because we heard whatever he said about King post game made no sense. Like, we're still in the discovery phase. I mean, okay.
When I hear Mike Schilt talk about Michael King, it makes me more and more concerned.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing you want to hear is somebody talking about somebody's injury, and they're like, "We don't know what it is."
Discovery mode.
Like, we are still figuring what this thing is. Actually, we don't know.
Right.
Like, that's not good.
Yeah, because this thing happened a long time ago now. Date? Do you remember?
It was on May 24th.
You were going away. Yeah. So, and it's now June 11th. So, 17, 18 days.
Yeah.
17, 18 days, and he hasn't been throwing.
And not only that, it's been 17, 18 days, and they haven't even diagnosed this yet.
Yeah, we don't really know what he's dealing with.
Like I'm going to ask Kevin, what's the official diagnosis on this? Do they even have one?
Pinched nerve.
Okay.
Officially.
But they don't even know exactly what it is.
Right, because we're in discovery mode. And
yeah, what does discovery mode mean, Kevin?
Is it like when you play a video game and there's different like modes you can play it in? Like, are we going to play in franchise mode? And then Michael King's really good in discovery mode.
Well, except in Michael King's case, it's like a, what's behind closed door number 1. Hope it's good news.
Right. I mean, remember,
that's discovery mode with Michael King right now.
Well, within the last week, it was Marty Caswell who asked him, "Will you pitch again this year?" And he scoffed at it.
I mean, he said yes.
I mean, not just said yes. He said it was a clown question.
Question, Marty.
And laughed. He wasn't saying it with seriousness. He wasn't trying to be rude, I don't think, to Marty. But he was certainly confident based on that reaction that he would be back.
It's a legit.
And I hope he's back. I mean, they need him back. So I think he's going to be back too. It's only June, but nobody has any clue when he's going to be back is the point.
It's a legit question from Marty because this organization with pitching injuries, you just don't know.
Right.
And now it's on the record, and I hope it doesn't come back as a old takes expose like Michael King's out for the rest of the year when he told Marty, "Of course I'm going to be back." Clown question, bro.
Right.
You're like, we don't even know what you're diagnosed with, bro.
Right. So exactly. And I know we've asked Kevin this a couple of times, like, is Tatis hurt? And he's not. And like Kevin has asked him that like firsthand, like, are you hurt? And he's like, no, this has nothing to do with my health, my struggles. But someone then give me the explanation here. And I think Kevin actually wrote within the last 24 hours, like, is Tatis turning it around? And I get it. Like, everyone's looking for signs of life from Fernando Tatis Jr., right? Had a couple of productive games against the Dodgers, right? Like a base hit and 2 walks.
But
on
nothing
Monday.
Of impact.
That's the thing. Those impactful moments are lacking so significantly. Right now for Tatis, who's hitting under 260 for the year, under 800
Yeah,
OPS.
These numbers aren't good enough. Like, not even close to good enough. He is, I'm not gonna say a problem, but it's not something that you look forward to every day where you're like, Tatis is going to come through for this team.
Do you remember the years, Jim? I kid you not. There were 2 or 3 years in here, maybe more, where I would stop everything to watch Fernando Tatis Jr. in the batter's box. I am not kidding when I say that. 2019 must watch, was he not? When he burst onto the scene.
Oh, of course.
2021, but those first 3 years, was this not one of the most must-watch players in the sport? We would all stop what we were doing. I'm not kidding when I say that. I would get to the other room. I would watch Fernando Tatis Jr. I'm not doing that now. I'm sorry, I am not. I mean, I'm not.
It's like, do I watch this whatnot page or do I watch Fernando Tatis Jr.?
I'm seriously though,
I know,
right? The other day, 2 outs, bottom 9. You tweet out, if he homers here, I won't tweet for a month. Where in 2021, I'm like, this guy's homering here.
That if I tweeted that out,
I'd be nervous.
I'd be very nervous.
And now it's like, it's just not that player. He is not that player right now. And he will be that player again, hopefully, but he is not that player right now.
And it's a big problem for the organization if this is the player he is for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, like what is the organization thinking? Just in general, like what are they saying privately behind the scenes about Tatis? How concerned are they about what's going on between the ears, or sad Tatis, or not being able to deal with the adversity at the big league level right now? Hasn't punched back, so to speak, at the plate since May 1st. May 1st, Jim. The next time they play is June 13th.
He's had 1 home run since May 1st, if I'm mistaken, or 2. No, 5, actually 5.
yeah,
Sorry.
5.
I'm thinking of
that's the one thing. He'll run into a ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of course he can run into
There's so many players in this team since May 1st that just have like 1 home run. I'm thinking.
Yeah, like Xander.
Jackson Merrill.
Jackson has 1.
Since he came back, yeah.
Yeah, has 1.
Okay.
But Tatis hit him. But, I mean, of course, I hope he's hitting home runs. It's Fernando Tatis Jr.
He
We
has
need
to.
more of them.
That's what he's paid to do. And like they're not going to move him out of the leadoff spot.
No. Which is, yeah.
But as of right now, he's just like not productive at all out of the leadoff spot. Like not even close.
No, not even close. All right, Kevin AC in 5 minutes. Call right now if you want a 4-pack of tickets to see Dirks Bentley at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater June 19th. Caller 7, you're going. 877-767-4760. Caller 7, you've got a free 4-pack of tickets to see Dirks Bentley at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater June 19th. That's in about a week. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. Call right now. 877-767-4760. Good luck. Kevin AC, our Padres insider, with more reactions. The Padres series loss to the Dodgers. Next, live, John and Jim.
This update is brought to you by WhatsApp. Padres Dodgers, final game of their 3-game series, went to the Dodgers today, 5-2. Next up, the Padres have an off day tomorrow before they start their 7-game road trip through Arizona and LA. And tonight, 5:30. Well, actually, we're moments away from tip-off in Indiana as the Pacers and Thunder go in action for game 3. That series is tied at 1 game apiece. On WhatsApp, your personal messages stay private. So things like those selfies from last weekend's party stay between you and your bestie, because on WhatsApp, your personal messages are yours. No one else can see or hear them, not even them. WhatsApp, message privately with everyone.
All right, John and Jim, we continue to react. Dodgers take the series after the Padres won yesterday in blowout fashion. The Dodgers win here today, 5-2. Always great to connect with Kevin Acee, who, of course, has been down at Petco Park covering this team as our Padres insider. So, Kevin, we appreciate you hopping on here on John and Jim once again. Would you characterize this series from a Padres perspective as like a series of missed opportunities with some of the miscues on Monday, a miscue on the mound there today defensively, and then those just wasted chances with the bases loaded today? Like, how do you characterize these 3 games?
Great. Now what am I going to do? Is it going to look like I'm plagiarizing you to write my newsletter? My game story is focusing on just what today was a brilliant game, right, and how kind of like the Dodgers, won today's game. They won it yesterday and all that. So I was thinking, yes, exactly what you said, this series. It was like, you can say it about a lot of series, right? Like they could have swept the Yankees or been swept by the Yankees. Yep. They could have swept the Giants or been swept by the Giants. They could have swept the Dodgers or been swept by the Dodgers. Well, they couldn't have been swept by the Dodgers. Sorry. They could have swept the Dodgers or lost, what they did, which is 2-3. Because you summed it up. Nothing more for me to say. You summed it up, both offensively and defensively. They kind of blew it. And you know what? Yeah, pitching too. They kind of blew it.
Yeah, it wasn't like the cleanest played series by the Padres, and frankly, losing 2-3 kind of makes sense when you break it all down. How, I guess, concerning is the lack of power becoming with this team? Because you saw it on the other side of the field. Like at any moment, like 1 through I think 7 in the Dodgers lineup, they have home run power. 3-run homer at any moment. The Padres lineup, other than Manny, you're just not getting it.
And I don't know how you guys feel, but it's not like I expect it from Manny, right? Like maybe I've just watched a couple of years of Teoscar Hernandez with the playing against the Padres with the Dodgers. That's like when he comes up, that's almost what I'm thinking, right? Mm-hmm. And that's not a knock on Manny. That's just not what I'm thinking. Now I am thinking base hit, even when he swings at a 3-0 pitch. It was the pitch to swing at, and that's fine. But I'm thinking base hit that drives in a run. But I do think it's concerning. And look, I mean, do we have to explain anything more than to say I know it's May 27th that Tatis had his last homer, and what was it for Merrill? May 10th, May 15th. I mean, so when you're missing that, I don't know where you're gonna find it.
It's funny you say that, Kevin, and I know you've written a little bit about this, and it's about so much more than any one player. But of course, you always go back to some of these players. And speaking on Tatis, it's like every single time you think maybe there's a corner to be turned, so to speak, right? Some productivity in the first 2 games of the series. He was 0 for 3 today with a walk. I was just saying there was a moment in time with Tatis those first 3 years where you'd stop what you were doing as a fan and you'd get your television. He was just theater and must watch. That's clearly not playing out right now. Would you agree that you're waiting for it to turn over? There's a little bit of a sign of life there, but then you have a day where he's not productive, especially today, where he was batting with the bases loaded. There were a couple of walks, and I think he flied out on the first pitch.
Yeah, his production has come from walks, right?
Yeah,
you nailed it. He's coming up, and you're going, oh, I remember when this was a big moment. I remember when this was, I don't know, probably, but it certainly felt like probably he was going to come through. And especially at home, right? And there are signs, but not the signs there used to be where it was a little bit at a time and then boom, that was it. 14 game on base streak where he had 6 homers in that span, and the guy was just going to be incredible. I don't really see it. I see a couple hard hits, but other players do that too. Like, there is nothing special right now about what he's doing.
Yeah, and it just you hope, you've said it, like you feel like he's going to break out in a big way, and just kind of just got to wait for that to happen, because they're not benching him, they're not moving him down to 7th in the lineup, so it's just a wait and see with Tatis. But the guy that's hitting right behind him, Kevin, Luis Arraez, his biggest, and we all know this, his biggest attribute and his biggest strength is his ability to hit for a high average. He's not going to hit for power ever. Yeah. He's not going to drive in a bunch of runs. He's not going to have a big on base percentage or slug. He is a high average guy. And right now his average this year is 278, nowhere close to his career average. And then today, in a big moment, he pops up. How would you look at Luis Arraez right now? Would you define this as really struggling for him?
I hadn't watched him hit 318 last year, doing the exact same thing. I think all of us would be like, oh, well, we know what he's doing wrong. He doesn't have any plate discipline. And, I think he needs to try to slug more. But we watched him win 3. Well, we know he won 3 batting titles being that guy. We watched him do it last year. We watched him hit whatever with runners in scoring position, which actually he is, I think, still their best, but that's grading on the curve with the Padres right now, since no one's hitting with runners in scoring position. So I honestly don't know what to even say about it. And they don't either. They tried to get him to not chase as much, but then is that what the problem is? Is it that in his head? Or is it affecting? I don't think so, because he's still chasing a lot. That is a perplexing guy that you go, wait, he is exactly the same, except his batting average on balls in play. And I'm not trying to make an excuse for him, but it's this is what Luis Arraez did for the first 6 years of his career, and it worked out a lot better. But it's bad, man. I wrote about it today. I'll keep screaming it from the mountaintops. Not saying left field's not an issue. It is. It's got to be fixed. Got to get another back. Got to get a right-handed back, because this is ridiculous what's happening in the middle of the lineup right now with Merrill, then Sheets. And nothing you can do about it at all. But Tatis and Arraez are dragging this team down right now.
And this was always the issue for a long-term contract with Luis Arraez, because if you don't have that one really incredible skill set, if you don't prove it year in and year out, you can't pay a player like this a crazy amount of money if he's got an off year at the plate and hits 267. For example, because he doesn't do
it's not going to be made up for, where Tatis early on in his slump, at least, right, had the 6 bombs or 5 bombs in 12 games. And I'm with you. And look, if Luis Arraez was batting 310, I'd be screaming from the mountaintops louder than I'm screaming that he's dragging the team down, because I think his defense has improved. His energy is off the charts. He loves his teammates. They love him. It's all there. It all gets ruined by what you said in terms of if he's not hitting for average, what is he?
Yeah, no doubt. Kevin Acey's our Padres insider. I never thought I'd ever say this, but Gavin Sheets, who was such a big part of the middle of this lineup, has really struggled. It hasn't gotten near the talking points, at least on our show, than some of these other names that we've heard over the last few years. But I've just pulled it up here at MLB.com. Last 15 games, he's hit 170 with a home run. Last 7 games, 160, no home runs, 1 RBI. Even over his last 30, he's hit 220. That's been a big part of the story too, right? Because without real team slug, when you don't get it from Gavin Sheets, where are you getting it from?
Yeah, I think that we all knew, right? This was a possibility, because whatever changes he's made, and clearly he has made them. And I'm not saying that he's going to continue to slump like this, but you've kind of felt pretty good. You were getting that May out of Gavin Sheets, and you knew that, well, if you don't get much more, you got that May out of Gavin Sheets, and winning teams need that kind of month out of a guy like Gavin Sheets. Now, look, he also, and I haven't done the breakdown, I will tonight. I mean, I talked about how poorly he's been doing against lefties for a while now, But like in terms of how much of that has to do with the 170, because he is getting some hits against right-handers, not the slug, but he's getting the hits. And it's like now that he's an everyday player, because by necessity, because there's no one else, like that's dragging him down, man. I think the other day it was like 2 for 22. It's probably 2 for 26 with a sacrifice fly now in terms of his last 26 at bats against lefties. Like it's not good.
Yeah, we were talking about this the other day, Kevin. Like maybe they've already gotten the best out of Gavin Sheets, and the best so far. I mean, from Gavin Sheets, like it's been really good. But to ask him to do it for a full year and put up, the numbers that he was projected to put up after his start, there's a reason why the White Sox did DFA him.
Man.
The what?
To do it again, like you put him in there as your DH, and you have a platoon. Maybe it's a whole different story, man. Maybe it's a whole different story.
Yep, and you don't have anybody else.
We'll see what they do.
Yeah. How I don't want to say how close, but is AJ Preller just really going to wait to the deadline here, or is he feeling maybe a little pressure here, or feeling like he needs to make a move, and it could happen here before the All-Star break, or what's your opinion on that?
I've been thinking I was thinking for a long time, based on just the urgency I was feeling from the people that I was talking to, that it was going to be sooner than later in terms of them adding a bat. And it still may be. But you know what has crept into the conversation is starting pitching. So, like, I don't know where they're at on that. I'm just saying that, like, maybe they need to wait and see, like, what do they really have to do before the deadline? So I still would say sooner than later on that bat. There has been urgency on that for a month. So, that would be but I'm also kind of like, man, this is like, we can point to the bullpen. That's great. But you know what? I could also point to almost every one of those guys having really good stretches. You cannot keep pushing this bullpen like this. You know why? If you don't know why, go back and look at the game logs from 2021. And it was basically, for whatever else happened on that team, it was telegraphed by midsummer of this. I didn't know they were going to have an epic collapse, but this is going to be a problem. And it's not there yet, but we're getting close to this being a problem for the Padres.
Final one for me, Kevin. Walk us through what typically happens from sim game on, because I'm thinking about you, Darvish, right? Because Mike Schultz said he'll get a sim game in Arizona. I guess if everything went well from here, and we know there's been setbacks, obviously, with Darvish, but what would the process be from sim game to what in an effort to get him back on a big league mound?
Really well phrased, because we have to remember nothing's been normal about the Yu Darvish, right? So, but what's normally the way, you would be maybe a sim game or two and then a rehab start, or a sim game and a rehab start. And especially with as much as Yu Darvish has now had two bullpens where he's gone up and down. So he's had two bullpens where he's sort of simulated pitching innings. And now a sim game, he's already up to 30-something pitches, or no, wait, sorry, it was 42 pitches. I believe it was at Monday. And so, gosh, is that like 4 innings that he goes in the sim game? Oh, yeah, that's a rehab start and you're back. I don't know what it will mean, and I don't know if anybody knows what it'll mean with Yu Darvish, but it could mean that. It could be that sim game, rehab start, boom, back. I guess at this point, I'd be surprised only because of how it's gone so far. But yeah, could be talking about him coming back, and maybe that's a really good idea. He comes back. I haven't done the math, but I think it would maybe be 2 starts before the All-Star break. It's a little break, see how everything's feeling, and then second half, or maybe it's the second half that he's ready to go.
Kevin, I feel worse and worse every time Mike Schilt talks about Michael King, just because it feels like everything that he's trying to say or describe with this injury, it's met with a we don't know what it is. What is the official diagnosis? Pinch nerve?
Pinch nerve official diagnosis. I'm with you. Not only based on what Mike says, but what Mike doesn't say, and then what I can't get anyone else to say. Right? Like when suddenly people that have been very reliable are no longer willing to talk with any sort of clarity about Michael King, then I'm very suspicious. And if I were a fan, be worried. Now that's just me sort of speculating, but it's also me 35 years in this business of being dealing with this, that, generally when the antenna goes up, there's something to it. Right. So I'm with you. Yes. The The longer it goes on and the less information and the less willing they are to give information and the more Mike talks in circles, the more worrisome it is.
Yeah, I'm with both of you. Kevin, safe travels to Arizona. Let's do it before this Diamondback series gets underway. And thanks as always for hopping on.
Right on. See you guys.
All right, great stuff from Kevin Acee, brought to you by the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place, Jim's back page, plus an update from the NBA Finals next on John and Jim. All right, final time. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. STFC Midweek Live is next, by the way. 13 minutes from now, you're going to hear from Mikey Vars, the head coach. Find out the latest on the club and Major League Soccer. STFC Midweek Live every Wednesday at 6. Right here in your home for STFC, San Diego Sports 760. All right, there will be another day. That'll be tomorrow. Padres are off. We'll get you ready for that Diamondback series, which will get underway on Friday night. We'll be joined by Alex Faust, who will call that game on Apple TV. And he will join us tomorrow at 2:30. Then Kevin will join us Friday from Arizona, the desert.
One of the worst stadiums I've ever been to in Arizona.
Yeah, it's awful.
That place sucks.
Yeah, they don't draw. It's like an airport hangar.
It has no charm whatsoever. It feels like you're an airport hangar. The only thing nice about it is that it has AC. So if it's 150 degrees outside,
which it is,
you go in there and it's 72 and it's perfect.
Yeah.
But other than that, there's nothing redeemable about that place.
So it's pretty much Milwaukee without the slide.
Yeah,
because Milwaukee is a lot like playing
Milwaukee
in
looks
an
way
airport
cooler
hangar.
than Arizona.
But it feels like an airport hangar though. There's girders
we had
everywhere.
someone on recently was like, "I love going to Milwaukee." It was Kevin, I think.
Yeah,
I
Kevin
think I like the
did.
ballpark. Okay. He likes the ballpark.
Okay.
All right. Padres will be in Arizona. We'll get you ready over the course of the next couple of days. But right now, let's get to this.
All right, just a couple stories on the back
Okay.
page today.
Yeah, what do you got?
These 10 restaurants opened the largest number of locations in 2024. So basically, like McDonald's and like
Subway.
Subway, like the list is kind of crazy when you look at it. And some of these places, I don't even know what they are. Like Tropical Smoothie. Do you know what Tropical Smoothie is?
Yeah, because I love smoothies. It's great.
But like it's like a chain.
Yeah. Are you kidding? You never heard of Tropical Smoothie?
Never heard of Tropical
It's
Smoothie.
McDonald's, but bigger. I'm kidding, but it's huge. I love Tropical Smoothie.
Opened up 143 locations in the U.S. last year.
Well done.
Chick-fil-A opened up 145 locations last year.
You've heard of them.
Dutch Bros 151.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna laugh at the number one place. Domino's 160.
Makes sense.
Dunkin' Donuts 188.
Okay.
Taco Bell opened up 199 locations last year.
Mm-hmm.
Chipotle opened up 273.
Big number.
Wingstop 278. Jersey Mike's
Is that number one?
313 locations opened up in the U.S. in 2024.
Is that number one?
That's not number one.
Okay.
Number one, and this makes 100% sense, is Starbucks. They opened up 589 locations in 2024. There's no joke. I've seen Starbucks open up from across the street from other Starbucks.
Yeah, they're like inside a Ralph's and then outside in a Starbucks.
Yeah, over off of Mission Gorge Road,
Mm-hmm.
there's a Starbucks by Ralph's, and then under the bridge at the gas station, they open up a Starbucks.
Yeah.
Dude,
crazy.
La Mesa, there's a Starbucks in the Vons, and then you go out in the parking lot, and there's an actual Starbucks in the parking lot.
That
too.
happens everywhere. It's crazy.
Dude.
They must be making money to open 600 restaurants a year.
You think?
You know,
It's
and
not
not to
even a
mention
restaurant,
that,
it's just
and
like a-
not to mention how many have already been opened over the last 30 years. Tens of thousands.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And finally, just a couple, like I said today.
Yeah.
Your son's name is Jones, right?
Yeah, that is correct. Jim.
Okay,
Good
Jones.
call.
I've never heard of this, but Jones would like it. Jones Soda.
It you mentioned to me off air. What is it, like cola?
It's like cola, yeah.
I'm buying this.
But you need to buy this for Jones.
What is it?
Jones Soda is teaming up with Crayola for a limited edition 12-pack that looks just
What?
like the classic crayon box, set to drop in late July,
What are you
just in
talking
time for
about?
back to school season. Each pack includes 2 bottles, each of 6 vibrant soda flavors matched with one of Crayola's recent unretired colors.
What are you? We bought these unretired colors just the other day. Jones freaked out about it.
Berry lemonade, pineapple cream, green apple, grape, strawberry lime, and orange and cream.
Dude, look at that. So I'm looking at it too. But yeah, I bought these crayons, this 8-pack of crayons, these crayons that were retired from like the 80s and 90s. And now I'm looking at this Jones box.
Yep.
That's unbelievable.
The packaging mimics a Crayola crayon box, blending Jones's signature boldness with Crayola's playful
Signing up on
nostalgia.
that.
It's a colorful collectible for soda lovers, artists, and anyone craving a creative twist on summer, and anybody's that name is Jones.
Look at that. Become a Jones Crayola insider. Boom, I am.
All right. The limited edition pack will be sold online and in select stores. Fans can sign up for updates now at jonessoda.com, which you just did.
JonesSoda.com.
Jones would actually really
Dude,
freak
and
out
look at
about
this. They also have on the website, you can create your own Jones. And it's
Label?
called My Jones.
Oh.
And then they put your picture on it.
Oh, you got to make a
Dude.
soda from.
Kidding?
Done.
All I do is buy him things though.
Make him a
First
tofu soda.
birthday. Oh, tofu soda. No, this is unbelievable.
And what soda would Jones like?
He likes red things.
Okay, I'm gonna then he's gonna like which one is it? Strawberry lime.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he would like something like that.
He likes strawberry lime.
Yeah.
But that
This is
Crayola pack
unbelievable.
looks pretty good. So
We can make a John and Jim Jones soda. Doesn't make any sense.
it'd make no sense. Yeah.
This is awesome.
Makes no sense.
How much does it cost?
That's a good question. I don't know.
All right. I'm excited about that. If you have a child named Jones, you should be really excited about that story, which basically is me. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Right.
All right, that's a good way to end a show where the Padres lose a series to the Dodgers. Because that's what we spent 4 hours on, but now I'm excited about this Jones soda thing that I can do from Jones. This is super cool. I can't wait to show this to Kristen. Crayola Jones
Will you remember
soda?
to show it to him though?
Well, I'm not going to show it to Jones.
No. I mean,
will I show it to Kristen?
Kristen, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, she'll lose her mind on this too. I think.
Or she might be like,
we got T-shirts I can buy.
Yeah, but the Jones soda is cooler to have, like in a Crayola box. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that is cool.
Like you saw what it looks like, right?
It looked awesome. It looked like a big Crayola box.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. I'm excited for that. All right, good job at the back page. Really good job at the back page. Here's the deal. If you missed anything today, go to sportssd.com or the iHeartRadio app. But here's the deal again with tomorrow. Alex Faust will join us, and he's going to call Padres Diamondbacks. We've got another Apple TV situation, which I like once you put it on because they do a really good job with the game.
But to get there,
Apple TV. Exactly. But we'll talk about the Padres and the Diamondbacks with Alex Faust, who will join us tomorrow. Then again, Kevin Acee will join us on Friday. Reaction to Game 3 of the NBA Finals. And a lot more to get to beginning tomorrow at 2 p.m. right here on John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. If you missed anything today, iHeartRadio app, sportssd.com, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Spotify. You can find us in any of those spots. And again, we're back tomorrow at 2. SDFC Midweek Live is coming up next. And for Brent and Jim, I'm John. Keep it here. This is San Diego Sports 760.
Okay.
Bye-bye.